injured in an accident, you know it's no walk in the park. Car repairs, medical bills, and lost time from work all add up. And if the insurance company isn't paying their fair share, you have to cover the rest. Even if it wasn't your fault. That's why you need an advocate. Call us today. Get you moving again. Come on.
You deserve clear, risk-free advice to help get you back on your feet. You deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty Show. Happy Wednesday, October 9th already. 2024 on the Monty Show, presented by The Advocates. At theadvocates.com, clear, risk-free advice. That's what you get when you go to The Advocates, because they know when you've been in an accident, it's one of the worst days of your life. You need somebody that is ready to fight for you, ready to take the weight of medical bills, lost wages, uncertainty, fear, anxiety. Let The Advocates take all of that off your plate so you can get back to living your best life. Get to theadvocates.com. Chat with an injury attorney live online 24/7, 365, and it won't cost you a dime. See, you never reach into your pocket to pay The Advocates. No, friends, you don't pay The Advocates unless and until they win your case. The Advocates present the Monty Show. Always good to see you. Hey, thank you so much for being here. If you are in Florida, they are now saying the entire state of Florida will be impacted by Hurricane Milton tonight. And obviously, we are already seeing storm surge out of this hurricane. Look at that thing. I don't even know how you comprehend the magnitude of this storm. Jake, who, has friends across the world, his best friends are Florida men.
Yeah, battening down the hatches here.
Bro, this guy took some straps out of his truck and tied his roof down.
Like drilled it into his concrete driveway.
Just let this is your life in Florida right now.
I couldn't imagine, dude.
Let that sink in. That this is your life in Florida right now, please. The magnitude of this storm. We have so many Floridians that listen to this show. I hope that you have left, because if you have not left now, I don't know how you get out. Gas stations. Have you guys seen this story about Hurricane Milton? Gas stations are out of gas in Southern Florida. They don't have fuel. So if you have not left,
it's over.
And I hope you left. I hope you're gone. And I hope today this show brings you some semblance of an escape, because this storm is coming. And the lower right edge of the storm is what is projected to hit dead center on Tampa Bay as of this morning. The last projection I watched about 45 minutes ago while I was pre-gaming is scheduled to hit Tampa. And in a hurricane, that lower right
portion
is the worst, most powerful part of the storm.
Yeah.
And I hope and pray, thoughts and prayers, all of it, for whatever you are, or whatever you believe in. Put all that positive energy towards Florida, because they're going to need it.
Yeah.
Because Florida is not going to be what we have known Florida to be. And if you are in Florida and you are still there, please get to the south. Please get to the north. If you haven't left, I think you're going to struggle.
Truly an all-timer, dude.
It is going to be amazing. And we'll see, just watching where this thing is supposed to hit. And I was just looking at the National Weather Service, who thankfully does a great job with their National Hurricane Center. This thing, as of 1 minute ago, this is supposedly going to hit directly on Tampa.
Yeah.
And this thing is going to hit tonight full force. The outer bands of rain are already there. And this is going to be terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, I think the crazy thing about this storm is just the way, not only the way it intensified, but the way it's kept its strength. There's been a lot of conjecture about like, hey, the western portion of the Gulf of Mexico is extremely warm, and the path that Milton took,
Yes.
allowed it to take advantage of that. And I just, I think it's becoming a situation where, during hurricane season, I just think we need to stop being surprised by storms of this magnitude. They're becoming
it's the second one in 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're becoming more common. It's no longer, hey, like we had one Category 5 storm this season. Now we've had multiple. Like it's just not going the right direction.
No, it's not. And I just the shots from space of this storm are, and that's what this photo is. This is a picture of Milton from space. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And I am amazed by it. And I don't know how do you comprehend the size of this storm? And then it went from a Category 1. Monday morning, it was a Category 1. By 2 o'clock Eastern, it was a Category 5. In half a day.
Yeah.
Half a day. Dropped down quite a bit. Was back to a Category 3, and now it's at a Category 5, and they think it's going to make landfall in Florida at a Category 4. Which,
yeah, I mean,
if it's a Category 4, Florida will not exist. You can't survive that.
Yeah, and I think that the thing is it's not just going to be the winds. I mean, the storm surge is what everyone talks about, but I also think what's not being talked about with this storm is the amount of rain it's producing. I mean, you're going to have historic storm surge on the coast, but the rain inland, I think, is going to be a huge problem.
Yeah.
Like, I think the flooding we will see from the rain in this storm inland is going to be gnarly.
Yeah, I just we're thinking about you guys. And Florida is such a big market on this show. We have so many people that listen to us from Miami to, Fort Lauderdale, Boca, obviously Tampa, Orlando. There's nothing to do at this point. So if you're watching the show in Florida, thanks for being here, man. And I hope that we can be an escape for you. So let's get to work. The College Football Super League. Is it real? And I so many people yesterday, after we reported this story, flung this Ross Dellinger tweet at me yesterday about Ross pronouncing the College Football Super League dead.
Back in April.
This was April 5th. If they were interested, they would have not signed the college football playoff deal. The proposal died, at least for now, when the college football playoff was executed. Turns out that's not the case. And as we've talked about on this show for months and months now, it won't be the SEC or the Big Ten that makes that decision. It will be ESPN and ABC. Because as we've told you, and in talking to high-level TV sources yesterday, ESPN and ABC and Disney are 100% on board. These are all people that know each other. We told you Smash Cap yesterday is the funding arm of this idea, and the one floating this proposal, Project Rudy, as they are calling it, that would put 70 teams into a super league. And the biggest question has been, what will it take to get this done? It is going to take a financial model that makes the power players in college football, mainly the Big Ten and the SEC, but ESPN and ABC, more money, that brings specifically more revenue to the streaming platforms, because that's where we are all going. And I would remind you that ESPN is launching DTC, direct to consumer, which two separate TV sources yesterday told me is the primary focus of their business models, starting really in September and launching about a week ago now into what's called Q4, fourth quarter of 2024. They are now fully ramping up to go direct to consumer by kickoff of next football season. That's what's going to determine this. And by all accounts, there is favorability, there is positivity, there is momentum to make this plan happen. And it is, what's the right way to say it? Curried favor. This plan has curried favor amongst executives in college football. And the biggest single question is, if it's a $9 billion cash infusion, which means private money is going to inject $9 billion into college football, how much are they expecting to get back? And how much is a college football super league worth? That is the single biggest question. Because if the NFL is worth $7 billion a year in profit, how much is a college football super league worth? And my guess is it's about 70% of what an NFL model is worth. So you're looking at $5 billion a year. That's a winning formula. If the college football super league creates a $5 billion revenue stream within a decade, which most people believe that it can, you're going to be making your money back hand over fist on that $9 billion investment. And again, I'll say what I've said, Jake, for the last year and a half. A college football super league makes far too much sense and far too much money for the power brokers not to happen.
Absolutely. And I think that that's why it was always, at least as far as we're concerned, an inevitability. I mean, I think generally speaking in our world, you know, if you set sports aside for a second and just think about it, like, you know, if a group of people, or if there's, you know, if the masses believe, hey, if we invest this amount of money, or if we invest $1 and we can make, you know, hundreds back, it's probably going to happen. And that's why I think the Super League has the life that it has. And that's why I think the Super League makes the you know, the sense that it does, because you can inject that cash into the sport and it will pay you back handsomely. And I think, you know, there's so many reasons why the sport needs it. And I think those reasons have been pretty evident for quite some time. And so my question with the Super League has always been, why does it garner so much hate? Why do people not want the Super League to happen? Why is it that, you know, guys like Ross back in April were pronouncing this thing dead? Because ultimately things take time. I mean, it's not like this is going to get built overnight, obviously. And, you know, obviously with the timelines, with the college football playoff and in those contracts, there was a renewal that needed to happen as far as that's concerned. But what's all the reporting saying now? Well, it's saying exactly what we told you back then, which was, hey, you signed the college football playoff agreement to 2031. And after 2031, the college football super league is probably going to take effect, if not sooner. So I just think that people don't like change in college football. They don't want to say, yeah, you know what? You know, the big dogs are playing on just such a high level right now that it does actually make sense for them to have their own thing. And then the rest of us can kind of figure that out. Cause that's the sentiment right now. Oh, well, you know, the Super League appeases the haves, but the have-nots are just going to be left to hang. They're just going to be hung out to dry. And what I'm saying is, yeah, you know what? Maybe it's about time the quote unquote have-nots actually figured out how to do something for themselves, got together like the haves did and said, you know what? Yeah, we do need our own championship. We do need a way to make more money. And by the way, to get all that done, we have to work together. We got to stop relying on Big Brother. And that's what I think the sport needs. And that's what's taking place. And I think that makes a lot of people uncomfortable, which is why you're getting the sentiment in the reporting that you are.
Well, and I also think the other issue for most people is, I think that if you're a fan of, and let's use the Pac-12 because I think this is the perfect fan base. If you're a fan of the Pac-12, you've gotten beat down once already when this conference melted down. And now what we are told is one of the real pillars and one of the real philosophical differences between those that are in favor of and those that are against the Rudy Project, the College Football Super League, is that this proposal from Smash Cap to the power players in college football would eliminate any possibility of those members of the College Football Super League, the 70 teams, proposed to be part of this Super League, it would eliminate any possibility that they would play G5 or non-Super League members. So teams like Oregon State and Washington State have to find a way into the College Football Super League. Teams like Boise State's dreams of a national championship die with the College Football Super League because it would essentially eliminate the Cinderella story, which I've told you, I even said yesterday, I'm not somebody that is in love with Cinderella and her slippers. I don't buy into the small school, the Colorado States of the world, somehow winning a national championship. I'm not here for that. I'm here for the best players smashing their faces into each other for 4 quarters on a Saturday night, right before Super Bowl Sunday. I want the college football playoff championship between the Georgia Alabamas of the world, the Ohio State Oregon game this weekend. I want the Titans of college football, who have the best talent, playing in a huge game Saturday night. And then I want the Titans of the National Football League playing in a huge game on Sunday afternoon. I'm here for that. 9 out of 10 garden variety college football fans that are G5, supporters want nothing to do with this idea. And I think it is insecurity and I think it is fear. But what I ask you now is, if you're a fan of the G5, what really changes? If you are a fan of the G5, if we go to a Super League and you don't play as a G5, you don't play Super League competition, what has really changed for you? If you're Northern Illinois, you've lost the Notre Dame payday. That's what we're really talking about. Do we need Appy State going to Michigan and beating Michigan? Well, I hate Michigan, so yeah, we do, but no, we really don't. I want more Ohio State, Michigan. I want more USC, Michigan. I want more Ohio State, Penn State in a really big game. I think we need, because that's what is going to allow college football to thrive. And I think one of the hardest things for people to digest, and I'm not trying to be a red ass about this, and I am not trying to alienate anybody. Is it really good, and does it grow the sport when Appy State goes to Michigan and wins? Does that? I don't believe that it does.
I mean, it's good for like a week,
I don't believe that it does.
It's good for Sports Center.
What grows the sport more? A massive audience for Georgia and Alabama, or nobody watching Appy State, Michigan? And I shouldn't say nobody. 1 million people watching Appalachian State go to Michigan and win one time. And then there are Sports Center top 10 plays and highlights. And I'm telling you, it doesn't grow the sport. And there's no data that says it does. It doesn't make Appy State a better football program in this case. Now, does Oregon State, Oregon? Does Washington State, Washington? Does SC, UCLA? Does BYU, Utah? Does Michigan, Ohio State? Absolutely, it grows the sport. Generationally deep. But does that go away with the Super League? It doesn't.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think the deniers, or the, as Prime says, the unbelievers of the Super League, probably don't want to talk about, is that they're going to find a way to check all the boxes. Hey, we're going to keep the rivalries. Hey, we're going to make more money. Hey, we're going to have the biggest games. Hey, we're going to change the structure of when we play our championship so it can be on the Saturday before Super Bowl Sunday. Like, all these things are going to get done. And, I just think, like, college football is unique in the fact that people really cherish the feel and the vibe of small town USA playing their college football, and kid from Nowhereville, playing 4 years and making it on the league and special teams. And like that's what a lot of people in college football love. And I can appreciate that. And frankly, I don't think that's changing. I still think that, I don't think people appreciate how much NFL talent comes from the G5.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand that. Yes, does Alabama put the most first round picks in the league? Sure. But does that mean that the G5 has no impact on what the NFL is doing? Well, no, of course not. And so for that reason, I still think that the G5 has a role to play in college football, but that role is definitively not playing Alabama for a meaningless paycheck. That's not what we're doing anymore. And I think that's the part that people really need to start to accept and move with, is that it's cool, like we're here now, but the big guys are always looking to move forward, and that's what this is all about.
And I just don't think that there's any reason to believe that the G5 can't thrive because a super league exists. I just don't think that's the case. I think you have to create a scenario where the G5, and really let's put it in blunt terms, anybody not in the super league still has a championship to compete for, because you're not competing for the college football playoff right now. Boise State and anybody else essentially in the Pac-12 has no chance today to win a national championship. You're just not in that conversation. And I understand that the highest ranked G5 champion gets an auto bid, and I'm down with that. How many teams in this country can actually say we're competing for a college football playoff? And I would tell you, not a single one in the G5. Not a single one. And I know that this constantly causes consternation with G5 fan bases, with Pac-12 fans, I understand that. That doesn't make it so. Just because you don't like it doesn't make it reality.
Right.
And I think when you look at this situation with the Pac-12, I think it is the perfect example of building a quality league that can still make money and still allow you to compete at a very high level. I think if you are, the biggest question I have is, if there is a super league, are Oregon State and Washington State in the super league? I don't know the answer to that question.
I think they're very borderline, and I think it comes down to what they're willing to pay. I mean, this brings me right back to, hey, Kirk Schultz in his prime at Washington State, ran that athletic department into the ground. And you're in a lot of debt. You're running at a massive loss. And I understand most athletic programs, run at a loss. Like, we all know that, but there's a difference of like a 5% loss every year and like a 50% loss every year. There's a difference there. And I think, schools like Washington State and Oregon State are, I would think, borderline teams. And I think it comes down to what we've talked about before. It comes down to your willingness to say, yeah, you know what, I am going to sign on the dotted line, and I am good absorbing this cost because I know that it's going to put us in a better spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are going to have to suffer the pain of the finances. And it's this whole dynamic where it's like, hey, you're like, literally, it's one of two things. You're either going to suffer the pain of not being included in the Super League because you were unwilling to pay the cost associated with that, or you're going to suffer the pain of paying the cost, but you're going to enjoy the riches, if you will. And I think that's right there is the kind of line in the sand moment that every school in the G5 is going to have to go through.
Yeah, I'm very curious who opts out. That's what I am fascinated by, this opt out.
But that's why I think
ability
Washington
with
State
this
would
NIL
be
lawsuit.
An opt-out school, right? I mean, how does a school like Washington State or frankly any of these schools in this reimagined wannabe conference as known as the Pac-12,
why do you have so much hate for the Pac-12?
Because you're not anything right now. You're nothing. You don't have a TV deal. You don't have scheduling. You don't okay, you've got a group of schools that said, yeah, in 2 years we'll call ourselves a conference. But you're still no TV deal, no scheduling. You're not legitimized yet. We haven't played a single down of Pac-12 football yet. Like, that hasn't happened in this new setup, and I'm not buying it until that we see that happen. And
I think that's a really interesting.
I think people just take for granted that this conference is going to come all the way back. I agree. Yes, they've done a good job to this point. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. You've done a good job. But when we're talking about the Super League, and if the Pac-12 and teams inside the Pac-12 right now would be included, I think Oregon State would be the only one, because I don't think Washington State can financially do it. I don't think they're in a position to do it.
I think you could figure it out. I think it's just a lot of money. And I think when you look at the Rolovich lawsuit and you look at the financial dynamics at play in in the Washington State community and the Washington State system, yeah, I agree. It would be very difficult. I think it'd be very difficult. And I don't know. I don't know how all of that. I don't know how all that plays out, frankly.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think Washington State is one of those universities who could potentially opt out, but I don't. I think the opt out in this college football playoff scenario, I think is very interesting. I think it is one of those things where you have to figure out how do we justify hundreds of millions of dollars in expanding our athletic budget. That's a huge question, and I'm sure in the comments section that you guys are probably getting into this whole thing about antitrust, and antitrust is not a thing here. You look at fans who are always going to say, I won't watch. I'll never watch college football again. You will. I'll never buy jersey. You will. I'll never. You will. I won't. You will. Like, you can sit here and tell me you're not going to watch your team. You will. If your team is competing for a G5 championship, you're not going to go and support them and watch it. Yes, you will. Yes, you are. You're not the idiot from Oregon State talking about burning your diploma that you paid tens of thousands of dollars for over a football game. I think the biggest issues right now for fans getting on board with the Rudy Project, I think the single biggest issue is getting over another loss if you are Oregon State and Washington State. And if I'm Scott Barnes, the athletic director at Oregon State, I have to believe he finds a way in. I think they would absolutely opt in.
Yeah.
I think he has stated from day one, Scott Barnes at Oregon State, we are going to put our athletes in a position to compete at the very highest level of sport. And if the Rudy League is that, or the Rudy Project is that, they're going to be there. I just don't think that it is, you're just not going to ever convince me that fans boycott anything. You're still watching the NFL.
Yeah.
You're still watching Tua get concussions. You know what football did in Kansas City.
Because it's what we do, man. Like, it's our culture. It's
Yes.
our livelihood, bro. Like, so when you want to say, oh, well, I'm not going to do this or I'm going to boycott that, like, come on, bro. Like, don't waste our time with you're going to boycott something. Waste our time with, hey, I hate the Super League because.
Yeah.
Like that would be better.
Yeah, I think it's really good for the sport.
Yeah.
And I think that I know that I get called a heel for this, but I like big matchups. I don't hate small towns. I live in Salt Lake City, which is a small town. And I think, it's really interesting. The Utah Hockey Club debuted last night against the Blackhawks, who didn't really show up. Thanks for coming, boys. I think it's fascinating that people in Utah want to be known as a pro sports town, and we're simply not. But I think that's what fan bases across the country are. Oh, man, I'm Boise State. I'm a fan of Boise State. We're a big-time football program. You're not.
No.
It's UNLV. We're a big-time football. We're a pro sports town. No, you're really not.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Like,
you're not.
I think as fans, like, we just see like what's in front of us, like what's directly like right in front of our face, and we want to say things like Boise State's a good example. Hey, like, man, we got the Heisman Trophy, the best, the front-leaning Heisman guy right now this year. Like, we're a big-time football program. I would agree you've got a quality football program as far as the Group of Five is concerned. Ashton Ginty isn't doing a damn thing against Alabama or Georgia in the Super League.
And I don't even know if that's true. But my point is, you can't play an Alabama-Georgia game.
No.
Because the simple truth is the best players in the country don't want to go to Boise. They don't want to go to Washington State. They don't. They want to play.
But is it too strong to say they shouldn't have to?
Well, I don't have to, want to. We're in a system now where it's the players control the system. The players can do what they want. And what I'm telling you is, as much love as I have for UNLV, and I love Las Vegas, I love Nevada, you are not competing at UNLV. The problem is that you're not competing with the Raiders. You're not competing with, let alone Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the ability and to scale. And really, this is not my idea. This was brought up to me yesterday by a college football administrator. Do you understand the time and money it takes to scale to be an Alabama type football program? If you're a G5, and ask yourself this in Boise and Las Vegas, UNLV and Boise are two really good examples of this. Can you imagine your university spending the money, hiring the humans, building the facilities, and reallocating educational funds just into the upper echelon of football? The quadrupling down that it would take just to recruit at the level at Alabama or Georgia or Ohio State. Look at the budget Ohio State expends, hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Can you imagine Boise spending that money? They've got a brand like Albertsons as a near and dear partner. So when I sit here and we talk about Spokane, Washington, Colorado Springs, Colorado, I don't know how you would ever even contemplate competing at the upper echelon of the Super League. I have no idea.
Yeah.
The money that it takes just to get into the conversation is, what number would you put out? If you're UNLV, how much more money? There aren't enough casinos in Las Vegas to scale. How many years would it take UNLV to scale to be competitive with Ohio State?
Well, I think, dude, I think if like, and I'm being dead serious. If you had casino money, yeah, I think it would take probably 5 years. Like if you had $200-300 mil a year that you had access to spend, not just on recruiting, but like facilities, events, like basically just upgrading building your snowball kind of, right?
Yeah.
Like you're here now, hey, we're going to spend, that snowball gets a little bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, I think it probably take like 3 to 5 years. I do. It takes time. You got to build things. You got to win football games. You got to go out and learn how to recruit the highest level. There's a lot involved with it.
And I want to get into the comments section, but I have a feeling it's going to be one of those mornings. Just glancing at Phil Benzer seems very angry this morning. Let me and Phil's a UNLV supporter. So Contemplate this. Okay, so all that money, resources, time, humanity to scale just to get to the Super League. Do you guys understand that Alabama, Ohio State, Texas, they're already at that level. They don't have to spend a penny to scale.
Yeah.
They're just cashing
checks. What they do.
This is who they are already. They're just cashing. You're a decade at least behind them. You're a decade behind them. And so I ask you, if you're a fan of a G5 team, why would you want to compete at that level?
Yeah, and why compete at that level when you can put something together at your current level that makes a lot more financial sense?
Yeah, I agree. All right. The Monty Show, as always, is presented by our friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. I'm gonna start driving this home right here again. This is the Advocates Venmo account, Advocates donations. We are 2.5 weeks away. I can't believe these words are coming out of my mouth. We're 2.5 weeks away from Halloween.
Yeah.
You're
not alone, dude. It's a time warp.
That's wild.
It's a time warp, bro.
It is a time warp.
Like legit. It was, I remember talking about week 0 and hey, the league is kicking off and Aaron Rodgers didn't want to play in a preseason NFL game. And, we were just talking about that 5 minutes ago.
Oh God. I just got a calendar invite from the wife.
Wait, okay, what is that for?
So you guys know that sunset is like 3:30 in the afternoon now?
Yeah.
So we're not playing golf on Friday night anymore because sunset is
Legit.
literally
It's like in the 6 o'clock
6
hour.
o'clock.
Yeah.
I just got the, hey, let's go see Beetlejuice in IMAX. And not do you want to, because
Beetlejuice, dude, come on. Don't be a heel about this.
I'm
Beetlejuice
not.
is fun.
It's just golf coming. Golf season's coming to an end in Utah, and it's very troubling to me.
Yeah.
All right. Focus. Squirrel. 2.5 weeks from right now, we are looking at Halloween. And the advocates are raising money to give homeless kids Halloween costumes. And so in lieu of giving, because you guys have been amazing in giving memberships, you guys have been amazing in super chats. Here's what I ask you. Hit them on Venmo right now. Send a DM to Jake that shows you made a donation. And just say Monty Halloween or Halloween for the kids or whatever. On Venmo right here. Advocates donations on Venmo. We'll give away a $25 Amazon gift card today. We'll do another one on Friday. Because I think it's really important that we give kids normalcy. And I would ask you, please, if you have $5, if you have $20, if you have $100, get on Venmo, send it to the advocates. They're going to give that money directly to the Road Home, who is one of the foremost homeless advocacy groups, especially for kids. Look how much money we raised for back to school, backpacks, clothing, basic essentials. You guys did a great job. We're getting into a season now where, yes, we're going to ask you for donations, because giving kids things like Halloween costumes, when you go to school and everybody else has a costume and you do not, think about what that feels like. Let's help kids enjoy Halloween. Make a donation, advocates donations, and then find Jake on Instagram, SLC Jake on Instagram. Send him a DM with a screenshot of your Venmo, and we'll give away a $25 Amazon gift card coming up in 2 hours from right now at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. We'll give away a $25 Amazon gift card, and it's Amazon Prime Deal Days today.
Yes.
Yesterday and today. Golf balls are on sale.
Do it.
So make a donation to the advocates on Venmo. Send Jake a DM, and we'll enter you to win a $25 Amazon gift card. The Monty Show, as always, presented by the advocates at theadvocates.com. Aaron Wilson gifts a Monty Show membership. Thank you, Aaron. Hope you have a great day on the mail route today. Aaron is a mailman, a mail carrier, a letter carrier in Lubbock, Texas. So we appreciate that. All right, let's get into the comments section. I'm scared. I am scared. The eye patch. More Pac-12 talk. Well, at least the ACC FSU talk has vanished.
Yeah, well, why did it vanish, dude? Because, yeah, that's right. The situation vanished because they decided it wasn't worth their time to continue.
Thomas Reed, the G5 schools that could pull Cinderella upsets with title hopes are now in the Power Four. So the group of 5 schools just need to form their own Super League.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have to form a playoff system that rewards people for winning games. I think that's very important. Very, very important. But hey, that's just me. Hoffman. That has nothing to do with football, Ron. Yeah, Ron Loney, I don't get it. I don't get it. You were filtered by YouTube once already today, so I would just ask you to measure yourself. I don't understand what politics has to do with this, but yeah, please. That time of the month, Jake, it's going to be that way. And Donuts, good morning. NIL lawsuits brought by the 9th District liberal judges. Okay.
Why are we
What does liberal or
this,
conservative have to do with anything?
Like, we're talking about college football, man.
Yes. I don't know what one has to do with the other, but okay. Make 2K the ride share way. Okay. Jerry Jones figured out a long time ago that Dallas does have to win a Super Bowl. Does not have to win a Super Bowl. They just have to be in the playoff race on the last week of the regular season. Eliminating the G5 kills hope and numbers. I don't think it kills hope because I guess the harsh reality is, and you guys tell me in the comment section if I'm wrong. I don't believe G5 teams have a realistic opportunity to compete for a national championship. Frankly, I don't think the Big 12 and the ACC have a realistic chance to compete for a national championship. They have more of a chance because they're guaranteed to have members in. But you look at the Big 10 in the SEC meetings today that are taking place, where, and I think it's important to note, the Big 12 and the ACC will have people at those meetings. And I am told that this Super League proposal is being talked about at length. So you look at this meeting today. This is the power players in college football. Boise State will be there, right? Oh, wait, they won't. You don't have a seat at the table. And I think if you're a G5 fan, you need to come to terms with that.
Right.
You need to come to terms with that. And I understand on some levels that sucks, but it is what it is. Jimmy Otson, if Wake Forest is in the Super League, Wazoo and the Apple Cup are in for sure. I would agree. But do you want to be? That's the other thing I would ask of G5 fans. Do you really want your football program in the Super League? It's so expensive. It is so expensive. I don't know why you would.
Right.
JC, the Pac-12 will happen. Too many good to decent programs, but it will take time. I would agree with that. Thomas Reed, I'm so glad Maryland has the Under Armour money, right? I just bought Under Armour gear the other day. Hoffman, we're going to build a ladder to the Super League and then put up a financial wall while also somehow being a public university. Well, I don't think there's a financial wall. This is and I don't know, maybe I'm misreading this comment. The antitrust, government's got to take action. They don't. You have the ability to opt in or opt out of revenue sharing in the NIL settlement. And if you opt out, you're saying that you don't want to pay your athletes. Because right now it's 22% of your profit goes to the athletes. 22%. And that's about $21.5 million on average in the P4 right now.
It's a huge number.
Are you even willing to opt into that? Do you know how many programs don't make that money? Do you know how many programs will go bankrupt if they have to give student athletes 22% of their profit? Let that sink in. How many programs lose money on football? A lot. How many universities lose money on athletics? A lot. How many of those universities will opt in to the settlement? Almost none. Nobody at the FCS level. And I think there is a real good chance 3/4 of the FBS level, G5s, opt out. I think that is a really good chance that there is that kind of widespread opting out, in my opinion. And Donuts, the PAC rising in basketball has the Big 12 nervous. Well, I don't know that you're rising. I think Gonzaga was a huge get.
Mm-hmm.
San Diego State's great at basketball.
Gonzaga.
But I think you got to get more basketball in that league because that's how you're going to survive. Football is important financially. Basketball allows you to thrive. And right now, the G5, look at the Pac-12. They don't have enough football right now. Now, if you had gotten the AAC membership,
that changes things.
But you didn't, and you don't have enough. Excuse me, you don't have enough football right now.
And notice that's kind of cooled off.
Yeah, I would agree. JC, I think college football, if it goes the way of the Super League, it will become bigger than the NFL. I think that's going to be tough.
Yeah, I think that's lofty, dude.
I think that's going to be tough. UW fan Jim, will the G6 add some lower level teams, and will the games be widely available on TV and streaming? Yes. There's more than enough money to power a G5 championship tournament.
So I'm saying this isn't about the mechanics of the G5 making money, dude. It's just about, hey, we shouldn't be asking smaller level school to compete with these huge businesses, if you will, because that's
Yeah.
essentially what they are. And I just think that concept is like very foreign to people. People don't want to accept the fact that, hey, it doesn't make the G5 lesser. Like, it doesn't make the like any G5 school you would look at like some bad school.
No.
That's not the point. And I think a lot of G5 fans take it that way, but it's just the reality that, you know, the G5 are not playing the same caliber of football as the Power Four, and that's simply because they're not getting the best talent in the country. So the whole time, it was an inevitability that at some point these power programs would break off and branch off into their own thing, and the G5 would have to get uncomfortable and actually work together to create their own playoff format. And that's what I think they just haven't had to do, because guys like Greg Sankey have been doing it for everybody.
But you guys understand that the Big Ten and the SEC have 60% of the money coming in from the college football playoff. You understand that, right? I don't think people understand that. I don't think people recognize 60% of the, what is it, $1.3 billion goes to the Big Ten and the SEC.
Yeah. Yep.
Let that sink in. Let that sink in, and let that impact you. That 60% of the $1.3 billion goes to the Big Ten and the SEC.
And that's just a massive number, man.
Huge.
Like,
It is a massive number.
I'm good if people want to say, like, if you're a fan of a G5 and you want to say, yeah, you know what, like, this is upsetting to me because I feel like we're being excluded, or I feel like, hey, you know, we're out, like, we don't have any say in the room. I understand if you have those feelings, but let's not talk about like this liberal judge nonsense and all this other, like, that's not what it's
politics
about, dude.
And Ron Loney talking about border issue. It has nothing to do with it.
Like, I just don't get that.
So our first entrant is in
Aaron Wilson.
Aaron Wilson gives $10. Advocates donations. There you go. Aaron Wilson's in.
Nice job, dude.
Monty Show is number one, Aaron says. I appreciate that, Aaron Wilson. Thank you. The Advocates are raising money for homeless kids to have Halloween costumes. Hook it up. We're going to give away a $25 Amazon gift card. Aaron Wilson's in the lead right now. So send us your Venmo screenshots. Send them to Jake DM, SLC Jake, on Instagram. After you Venmo the Advocates donations, $5, $10, whatever you can do. Whatever you can do. Help homeless kids have a great Halloween season. We'll give away a $25 gift card coming up at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. Aaron, thanks for being first one in on that. As always, let's see. Jimmy Otson. Right, Vlad, Sankey and Petiti are not going to have a conversation with Georgia and Michigan where they only make as much TV money as 60 other schools. Not going to happen. But who said they're not going to only make as much money as the 60 other schools?
Yeah, did we certainly didn't say there wasn't going to be a delineation, right? Like, if you win more, you're going to make more.
The College Football Super League that is being proposed by Smash Capital does not pay equally. We talked about this in detail on the show yesterday. And in talking to TV people yesterday, it's a win and you're in. It was likened to making the cut on the PGA Tour, which I think is exactly how it should be likened. Did you make the cut at this week's PGA Tour stop? Okay, you're making money. You missed the cut? Yeah, you're going home without any money. Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
And I don't think that's unfair.
Now, that's in the for playoff money. The TV money for the regular, every school is going to get a share of the TV money. It will be a sliding scale. Those that make the college football playoffs, those that make the playoffs on the regular basis get more money than those who do not. So you are incentivized to spend your money well to make more money by getting into the playoffs.
Yeah.
If you make the playoffs, and as you advance through the system, it's very much like, I don't know, maybe the NFL If you go to the division round and you lose, well, you made a little bit more money. But those who went to the semifinals and then to the finals, and then they're making far more money than those who just went to the playoffs. That's how it should be. That's absolutely how it should be. And for the College Football Super League, why would you want it any other way? We can't live in a culture anymore because look at the NIL settlement. You're going to be able to opt out of taking part in that settlement. But when you opt out, that also means you can't compete for the highest levels of revenue.
Right.
It's exactly how it should be. And when you look at the money that is going to be dispersed, we can no longer say, well, all right, there's 10 members and we got $1,000, so every member gets $100. Well, no, it doesn't work that way. It is what I've always said that I agree with Florida State on. Listen, Virginia, if you're not going to go to the college football playoff and you're just going to go to the Jimmy's Peanut Shelling Machine bowl game, that's not worth as much as Florida State going to the college football playoff or Clemson winning a national championship for the ACC. Are you telling me, look at what happened this past weekend, you telling me Vanderbilt should make as much money as Alabama? No, they should not. The day of, hey, I'm here, I deserve to get what you get is completely dead, gone, over, as it should be. It should be a merit-based revenue system.
Yes.
End of story. It should be a merit-based revenue system.
I couldn't agree more, dude. And I think that people, I don't. This is why I said this at the beginning of the show. Like, it's all here. Like Smash Cap, ESPN, they're gonna check every single box that they need to check. They're gonna cover all their bases. It's gonna be a perfectly like a fine-tuned, running machine. It's gonna be perfect. And I just think that this conversation is more about the emotions of college football fans and the fact that they're not really loving this idea yet because they're a fan of, Boise State, UNLV, whoever you want to point to, right? Whatever G5 you want to point to. And they just don't like it. And I'm fine with that if you don't like it. But again, you're going to have to learn to accept the fact that this is happening. The days of Ross, Stellinger, or anybody else saying it ain't happening. Notice no one's saying it ain't happening anymore. You notice that none of the national guys are not like, oh, hey, this is a joke. This is dead. This is never happening. What are you talking about? Like we're not seeing that anymore.
Yep. Let's see. Hoffman. Then we need merit based on education as well. Why?
Yeah. Why?
What has that got to do with athletics? If we're going to be part of a college education, then where is the merit there? Education and sports have never been tied together.
Yeah, this is the other thing that college sports fans want to get on their high horse about. With all due respect, I'm not trying to make it personal, but you're trying to make the argument that, oh, well, hey, we're talking about college athletics. What about the education piece?
So Vanderbilt should make as much money as Alabama because of their grade point average?
Like that doesn't make sense for anybody involved.
That you're playing in two different circles. You're playing it. Stanford makes far more educational money than Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State. Why is that? Well, because they're elite academics. Great. Should they have to share their academic money? That's what. Come on now. Come on. Aaron Wilson. Yeah, even bowl games have money scaling systems.
Yeah.
It's what we want. Participation trophies. There's no participation trophy because we got to pay NIL lawsuit money. And now we've got a revenue share, and the days of carrying UConn football are over.
Yes. And by the way, I think it's unfair to ask the big dogs to carry the lower end schools who don't take winning on the football field seriously.
Yeah.
Like
Phil Venzer, why would you join a group that its payouts are not the same? Well, you're already in that group. Payouts in the Mountain West are not the same. Hate to break it to you, but Boise's making more than everybody else in that league.
I got to say, I'm a little surprised here. I'm a little surprised that people don't know that, like, we're already doing this.
Yeah,
like, this is already happening.
The ACC settlement that's coming, I talked to a guy yesterday who said it's all but done. That Florida State and Clemson have negotiated for the ACC to pay on a tiered system based on your success on the field and on the court. And I say, okay, cool. That's exactly what you should be doing.
Yeah.
It's what I've always said about Notre Dame. What has Notre Dame, and there is no, look, I'm wearing red today. This tells you I'm a Notre Dame fan.
Notre Dame, our mother.
I see all the comments about how we're wearing red today. This was an accident, but it happened. My point is, what has Notre Dame done? As a diehard Domer, I'm asking you, what has Notre Dame done to get a guaranteed spot in the college football playoff?
You know what they've done? They've garnered TV viewership.
But they haven't won on the field and on the court.
They've won enough. Not on the court. On the football field, they have.
Like the perception of your ability to make us money.
Yeah.
And what did Notre Dame give up? Which is something else that everybody said that I'm a liar and I don't have sources and I don't know what I'm talking about. Trust me, bro. What did Notre Dame give up? What did I tell you? Notre Dame gave up any voice in the structure and essentially administration of the college football playoff. What did we find out last week from, I think it was Stuart Bandel at The Athletic?
I believe that's correct.
Notre Dame gave up any voice in the structure in the administration of the college football playoff for a guaranteed spot if they are in the top 12.
By the way, while we're talking about Notre Dame, who's right in the middle of the Super League conversation? Just someone named Jack Swarbrick. Notre Dame fans, you know who that is? So,
and he is retiring, and I'm curious how much sway Notre Dame loses because of that. Because he is in the ACC. Now, I've always told you the power structure of the ACC is on Tobacco Road. But if you think that Notre Dame doesn't have a significant voice in what happens in the ACC, you're out your goddamn mind, because they do.
Like I said, I think that college football fans, want to try to poke holes in this thing. Like, oh, well, why would we want to be a part of a group that's making less money? Well, because you already are. We're already in that system, man. That's already happening. Frankly, why do you deserve to be in a group of schools that's making more when you're not doing the same thing they're doing? So,
I think this is a conversation based in emotion and pain.
Yes, and that's fine. I'm not even saying
totally
that's silly. I empathize with
100%.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on it.
100%. All right. We are collecting donations for the Advocates this morning as they try to raise money for homeless kids to have Halloween costumes. Our latest donation.
Chris Karn.
Chris Karn gives $25. Appreciate that very much. Thank you, Chris Karn. Go Bears.
Chris, what are we smoking this weekend, dude? Iconic weekend in college football, bro.
Can you clarify what you mean there?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What are you putting on the Traeger smoker you want on the show? Chris Karn the other day sent me some interesting facts. And I know that I am the only one that is a Jake Retzloff supporter.
Right.
19 touchdowns. Jake Retzloff by the numbers at BYU. 19 touchdowns in 9 starts. More than Jaron Hall, Zach Hall, Zach Wilson, Tanner Mangum, Riley Nelson, and John Beck. 13 turnovers in 9 starts, less than Steve Sarkisian, John Beck, and Max Hall. 7 of Retzloff's starts versus P4 opponents, most in program history through 9 games.
He's terrible.
He sucks.
I mean, he's garbage.
He can't be our quarterback.
I mean, why do we even have Jake as a the starting quarterback?
I'm happy to be the guy that stands on the stump for Jake Retzloff because the guy has earned it. Chris, good to see you. I appreciate the donation to the Advocates. We're in 90 minutes. We will give away an Amazon gift card right here on the Monty Show to one person who makes a donation today. Advocates donations on Venmo. Advocates donations. Screenshot that donation. Send it to Jake, SLC Jake on Instagram. And you are entered to win. Let's run through a couple of more here. Calford for $4.99. Take off those red shirts. Is that what you said?
This is a family show, dude. Nudity is not permitted. I don't know what you're.
RJC man for $2. I donated $25. Invite request SLC Jake.
Oh God.
Okay. We appreciate that. Thank you very much for that donation. Mayor McCluskey, I'm digging the orange BYU shirts. This is not, well, look at them supporting the Utes. Look at them supporting the Utes.
Yeah, I mean, this is my Oklahoma State shirt. I mean, we're all on the same page, right? Like, we understand that this is a Gundy show.
Is it orange or red?
Well, it's kind of a two-tone. So, like, I've got this orange portion up top, but then there's a lower portion that's red. So, I mean, I'll leave that up to you guys.
My shirt's red.
Yeah, his shirt's red.
I try to wear once a week a different color other than black because all I ever wear is black. So I try to wear a different color. Today was red. When
you weren't expecting this one.
Bro, I stand in front of my closet in the dark every morning at 4:30. Half asleep trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to wear. If you were smart, and I never have claimed to be intelligent, you would pull that stuff out before you go to bed. I pull out the pants and the boxer shorts before I go to bed at night. I have a big red chair in my room.
Red's your color today.
I put my pants and my boxer shorts on that chair every night before I go to bed. You think, hey, you want to pull it out and put your polo? Stop. Grow up. Grow up.
4 references, bro. Well, I got to pull it out here and pull it out there, and I'm the king of pulling out.
First of all, that's a felony in some states. Second of all, I should prepare the shirt I'm going to wear the night before. I don't.
Right.
My closet is color coordinated. I'm that guy. I have a row of I have 100 shirts hanging on hangers in my closet. Usually I go to the black section. Sometimes I go blue. Sometimes I go red. Today it was red. It just is what it is. Eye patch. Shirts look orange to me, especially Jake's.
There's no question.
Now,
his is red. His is red. There's no question, dude.
Aaron Wilson, obviously red.
Yeah. There's no question, dude.
Are we doing this right now? Are we doing this? Orange is the Detroit Tigers.
Wow.
Big game with the Guardians today. Big game. Thomas Reed. I'll say again, the best G5 schools would not compete annually in the ACC, let alone Big Ten or SEC.
Completely agree,
100%.
dude. Completely agree.
100%.
And why would we want them to?
You wouldn't. Calford, $5 more. Take off those red shirts. RX, anti-Condi Rice will protect Notre Dame and Stanford.
Okay.
All
right, man.
I just don't know why people are such red asses about this Super League, and why can we not just have a straight up conversation without bringing in the border and Condoleezza Rice? And Condoleezza Rice is at least pertinent because she's on this college football playoff committee. But we get into these conversations where you don't agree, so you go to politics, and I just don't understand that.
Or you just think it's dumb. Like, even like I don't even think we've got comments about like, hey, like it's not happening anymore. Like, we're not seeing people saying the Super League's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
What we're seeing is, oh, this is stupid, or it doesn't make sense. Or
speaking of Ferris Khan, did you guys see the video that came out on the interwebs yesterday? That has Connor Stallions talking about Michigan. Sorry, I might slip of the tongue.
Just Freudian slip there,
Connor Stallions yesterday goes on a podcast.
Yeah.
Do we have that video?
No, we don't have that. No.
It's sorry. I asked Jake to get it, and he's not part of the Super League, so he said no. Connor Stallions went on a podcast for Michigan State yesterday, and he freely admitted that he was stealing signs, and that he sent the signs for Michigan State to Ohio State because Michigan needed Ohio State to beat Michigan State.
Yeah. So this dude goes on one of the biggest podcasts in Michigan State country and talks about this
openly.
And if you're a Michigan fan, if you want to say, oh, well, he did this or did that.
Lone Wolf, bro.
Okay, cool, dude. The reality of the situation is this guy's talking because he's not sign stealer guy anymore. This guy's talking because he's not the center of attention. So he goes on the biggest podcast that he can find in his area. And admittedly, it is a big podcast. It is. And give the guy credit. He knows people. Okay, cool. But I don't, I just think that the guy wants a ton of attention, number one. That's like what he's after. Like, it wasn't good enough that you embarrassed yourself coaching a high school football team. Now you got to go out and say that you gave Ohio State signs because you didn't want Michigan State to be tied 3 ways with Michigan. Like, dude, okay, cool. We get it, man. We get it. You're not denying the fact that you had signs.
Yes.
You're not denying the fact that you shared those signs. Like, I don't think it's worth the time. I'll be honest with you guys. Not only is it not worth it, because like if we play something that's copyrighted, like that's why we don't play NFL stuff. We get flagged, and it brings us like a bunch of stuff that we have to deal with YouTube. It's not worth people's time to give this guy the leeway to play his stuff. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, wow, Connor Stallions said that he gave signs to Ohio State. I wonder why he's talking about Ohio State. Oh, that's right, because the NCAA is never going to let you coach in college again.
Yeah, it's over.
That's why. And,
it's over.
And it really bothers me. And yeah, you can say I'm being a red ass and I'm upset about it. Yeah,
I
am being a red ass.
He is a red ass about Connor Stallions.
And I am upset about it because we want to say, oh, well, Lone Wolf, this guy was a victim. He didn't do anything. Yet here he is going on a podcast saying, hey, well, I gave signs to Ohio State, even though Ohio State would beat the living hell out of Michigan State every single week for like 10 years in a row. They don't even need the signs. But you sent it to your friend, who sent it to his friend, who sent it to But
Ohio I'd be doing the same thing. What are you going to do to me? What are you going to do to me?
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to do anything to him. They have nothing's going to happen to Connor Stallions.
The truth is, he didn't commit a crime
No.
that we know of.
No.
The LLC vacuum sign stealer guy thing with little short guy running back, that may have been a crime. Who knows? But the sign stealing operation's not criminal. You cheated. That's why you won a national championship.
Yeah.
But him talking about this now, and the first thing, I have one single person in my life that is a Michigan fan. One. I've excommunicated every other. I haven't. I don't know other Michigan fans.
Ferris, you're on the fence though, so be careful.
Because I don't generally hang around with felons, so I don't have
sign stealer guy.
Michigan. I'm being a jerk now. The one guy in my life that I talk to regularly that is a Michigan fan. What does he say to me? Well, why would I believe what he has to say? Okay, so now he's not a lone wolf. Now he's a liar. You guys, why would he wasn't on the Western Michigan sideline? Turns out sign stealer guy was on the Western sign stealer guy. It turns out
what I'm talking about, right
Central
here.
Michigan.
Right here, out of Ferris, right there, that comment. We now we believe him because it fits our narrative. Right there, that comment, the smash the numbers comment. That's
this
Ferris.
One?
Yes, that's Ferris Con.
Connor Stallions is telling the truth when it fits your narrative. See the chameleon lying there is the sun. Oh, but why would he lie now? And I've always believed that what do you mean that it fits our narrative? I've always believed here's the problem. He never denied it.
Yeah.
Connor Stallions has never denied it. Ever. He was fired by Michigan. Why? Because he farted in a team meeting? No, because he broke rules at the NCAA level and it got them in real trouble. There's no Ferris. Listen, dude, and now your name is Smash the Numbers. I've never put the two together. My point is, you can't tell me he's a lone wolf, then say he's a liar, then say we don't believe him. Come on, guy. Just why can Michigan fan not just own the fact that he stole signs, your coaching staff knew about it, and you won games because of it? You couldn't beat my mom's sewing circle. And then all of a sudden you start winning every big game you play in?
In Ferris, you're right.
Come on.
The guy did put a sign stealing operation together, and he is a complete idiot. He is a buffoon.
Well, first of all, I don't think he's an idiot. I think Connor Stallions is wildly intelligent. Now, is he a good businessman? No. Is he good at espionage? No. How about that public Venmo account, bruh? Not good at espionage. But did he steal signs and pay people to do it? Yeah, I believe he did. And you know how we know that? Because the people he paid said so and outed him and said, yeah, he sent us tickets and money, and it was raining, so I only stayed for the first half of the game because, frankly, he didn't pay me very much. But I did upload the stuff to the cloud, and we know how it happened, man. We know he bought all those tickets on a public account in his own name. Like, it's not, I don't understand why Michigan fan won't just say, you know what? You're right. Connor Stallions stole signs, and the football program benefited from it. Can you really sit here anymore? The part I love about this is Jim Harbaugh. I'm a man of integrity. My father taught me many years ago.
Never lie, never cheat, never steal.
I would never, ever. Okay, so did you lie, cheat, steal, or did you just lack integrity? Which one
Cheating,
is it, Coach?
lying, and then playing the victim.
Because if you didn't know what Connor Stallions was doing, you lacked integrity. You weren't good at your job. So which one is it? Now that we know, because Connor Stallions is on a Michigan State podcast talking about how he sent signs to Ohio State from Michigan State. Come on, dudes. Come on. It just, yes. How many bangs on the trash can was it for pass, and how many was it for run?
Right?
Like, are you?
And I think it's a great example. Look at what the manager of the Astros at that time, AJ Hinch.
Jose Altuve is a man of integrity.
AJ Hinch got fired and was out of the game for a minute, and now is managing the Detroit Tigers, and they're back in it.
Jose Altuve learned from his father years ago that you don't lie, cheat, or steal. You tell the truth. That's why you don't rip the jersey off. Not because there's a buzzer on my chest. No. I'm a man of integrity. That's why I
don't break the rules.
Michigan after they offered me the largest contract in the history of college football. I left Michigan, even though Ferris Khan said on the Marty program that I would never leave and that I'm the greatest man that Michigan's ever known.
I said, dude, I'm not giving Connor Stallions any more runway than he already gets, dude. It's not that the guy talks to get attention. That's why.
Ferris Khan. You can't tell me that Stallions is a super genius capable of altering the bet. Nobody said he altered the bedrock.
Yeah, what are you talking about,
football.
dude?
Who said he altered the bedrock of college football? With grainy iPhone footage, it wasn't grainy iPhone footage.
See, this is where you start to lose yourself, dude.
From the stands, and that he is a complete idiot. He's not a complete idiot. You come off defending him as a complete idiot. Because it's not a question of what he did anymore, Ferris. Just own the shit. Excuse my French, you won a national championship because of Connor Stallions. Connor Stallions set up an entire network, bought tickets, paid people, and used a cloud account. How do we know that? Because that's what the NCAA says happened. That's why the Big Ten and the NCAA, on a story we broke on the show, we're sharing information when you told us we didn't know what we were talking about. Why did Michigan not go to court? Why did you had and this is the thing that Michigan fan doesn't want to talk about. You had a judge that played football at Michigan, is an alumni of Michigan law, that was going to hear your injunction case, and you didn't go to court and fight him. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting that Connor Stallions is now openly talking about his cheating operation.
Yeah.
Frankly, I'm a huge fan of Connor Stallions talking about his cheating operation.
I mean, it's entertaining as hell. I mean, I think that people being absolutely flabbergasted by it is incredible.
As a Notre Dame fan, it brings me great joy to know you cheated your way to a championship. Calamoni Hurricane Relief, $200. Calford, let's go.
Yeah, nice job, dude.
Dude, appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Appreciate you donating instead of giving membership. Seriously, thank you.
Donate to the Advocates on Venmo. They are raising money for homeless kids to have Halloween costumes. It's a great cause. And I know that we talk about the Advocates every day on this show. And I know that we've asked you to donate a lot, but we're not asking you to donate so Michigan can steal signs and afford, we're asking you to donate so that homeless kids don't have to feel ostracized and bullied when they're not having a Halloween costume and they're knocking on people's doors without a costume. amongst groups of kids. Like I live in an area where a ton of kids come to my door for Halloween. A ton. And you see the kids that don't have the money to have costumes. And it's heartbreaking because we're not talking about 15-year-olds. We're talking about 5, 4, 7-year-olds. You can make a difference. This donation to the Advocates on Venmo, Advocates donations, 100% goes to the Road Home, who is buying Halloween costumes for homeless kids. Make it happen. Make it happen. And yes, I'm asking you, instead of donating memberships, donate to the Advocates. I am that passionate, and I've told you about this before. I am that passionate about making sure that kids have a normal life, because that's getting harder and harder every day in this country.
Right.
For kids to go to school and just have a normal life. That's what I'm asking you for, to donate. Please make it happen. Hour number 2 of the Monty Show, presented by our good friends at prizepicks.com. Prize Picks, the official daily fantasy partner of the Monty Show. Download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code Monty. Make a $5 deposit. They'll give you 50 more. And maybe you too can pimp strut like I did last night.
Pimp strut.
Now, I have told you that Shohei Ohtani is less intelligent than Connor Stallions. I don't think I've ever said that on this show. Good job, Ferris.
Yeah, nice job.
Shohei Ohtani last night cost me $115 because I needed him to have 3 hits, runs, and RBIs combined. He had 2. But see, I'm a flex play guy.
Right.
So I make 3 picks. I only need 2 of them to win. Aaron Nola, I had him at 7 strikeouts. He had 8.
Now, I might add, early in that game, we were sweating about
I was in
hitting
panic mode. We were texting back and forth yesterday.
He came through.
Bryce Harper, I needed 2 hits, runs, and RBIs. Nailed it. And then the great gambler couldn't help a brother out. But the good news is that was a $20 flex play. So they paid me $25.
Yes.
For getting 2 of 3 right. Friends, that's
all you got to do, bro.
That's the grind on Prize Picks. It's super easy. I love it. Baseball tonight. Here are the 3 selections I would make. Kansas City against the New York Yankees. Seth Lugo. His demon number, which means there's no demon available on Seth Lugo. 4 pitcher strikeouts. More. It's in Kansas City. So you can go and get some really pretty mid-average barbecue, because Kansas City barbecue is not good.
But the Yankees are behind in that series. Is that right?
No, it's tied at 1.
It's tied at 1.
It is the pivotal game. It's a 5-game series. Whoever wins tonight probably wins the series. Seth Lugo, 4 strikeouts. Go more. Jose Quintana, brah. Why is Jose Quintana still a starter? He is starting for the Mets at 3:08 p.m. today against Philadelphia. 4 strikeouts, more or less. I think that you've got to go less. I think you got to go less on Jose Quintana, brah.
Yeah,
because that's an elimination game, essentially, isn't it? That's not essentially.
It is.
The Mets lead that series 2-1. And then I think there is a myriad of selections and hit, runs, and RBIs. I think Jose Ramirez has 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I'd stay away from Jose. I worry about him. He has not had he's not had a great run here the last couple of games, so I would stay away from that. I think you got to go to the Yankees or the Phillies here. Schwarbs, my left fielder, Kyle Schwarber, who should still be a Chicago Cub. 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs against Jose Quintana.
Yeah, I mean, I would be on the Phillies bats, Schwarbs, Harper, and I would be on Ohtani to bounce back.
I want so desperately to take Ohtani. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think that...
Well, what makes you not believe it?
He had some really bad at-bats yesterday. I'm not used to seeing it. Now, he did fly out to the wall.
Uh-huh.
And I almost lost myself when that ball was in the air. I think I am going to go. I think I got to stay with Bryce Harper.
Okay.
I think it's Bryce Harper because Bryce Harper had a terrible at bat yesterday. He's not going to have 2 games. I'm going Bryce Harper. So my 3 are Seth Lugo, more than 4 strikeouts. Jose Quintana, brah. Why am I saying it like that? I don't know. Less than 4 strikeouts. Bryce Harper, more than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. That's where we're going, kids. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty. You deposit $5 in a new Prize Picks account. They're going to give you 50 more. It's about as easy as it goes.
Yeah.
It's about as easy as it goes. All right, let's get in here and get some more donations to the Advocates. Advocates donations on Venmo. The Advocates, Monty Show Kids Halloween Hurricane or No Kids Need Help. All hail the Super League.
Maury Alvarez.
Love you, Maury Alvarez. Be safe, Maury. Maury's one of our great Floridians. The Advocates, Monty Show Kids for $10.
Jeremy Bolton.
Jeremy Bolton, let's go. Jeremy, good to see you, Mayor McCluskey. I appreciate that. 1 hour from right now, we'll give away a $25 Amazon gift card. Appreciate that. Are you guys still arguing over Michigan? Smash the numbers. Mets are eventually going to get tired, are they? I'm telling you, Ferris? And Jake and I have debated this many times when we are alone in the dark. They will only let me do a $10 flex play on that. Oh, okay, I understand. I set it up wrong. There we go. I think the Mets are going to be good for the next 5 years. They have a ton of payroll available after this season. They have young players in the right positions. And I think that they are. I'm not a Lindor fan. He's good. He's not elite.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have the money to upgrade and they need to get pitching. And I think they're always going to hit, but they need a big time bat and a big time arm. Do you miss Jacob deGrom yet?
Seriously, dude, that's not even a joke, man.
I think they're going to be very good. Roche, I spend about $30 on candy. Are you full candy bar guy?
No, you gotta go mini, dude.
Nah, I love being full candy bar guy. Kids love full candy bars.
Okay, so I went Ranger Suarez, more than 3 strikeouts.
Why?
Fernando Tatis, more than 1.5 total bases.
He has been so hot.
And Seth Lugo, less than 4 strikeouts against the Yankees.
Less than 4 strikeouts.
Yes. Well, if you look at his numbers the last time against the Braves, he only had 6. So
Okay.
Flex playing it.
Okay. Geoff, you guys are going to talk about hockey this season or not? When there's hockey in Utah, we'll talk about it. Here's my problem with the hockey club. I love hockey. I'm a passionate hockey fan. I think most of you know I'm a Blackhawks sufferer. You handed this guy the keys to redeveloping an entire downtown for no money. And you didn't do it on a ballot. And now he's going to eliminate a Bravenel Hall in downtown Salt Lake City. And you're all just like, yeah, Monty, but the jerseys look great. Hey, it's $2 concessions. Has anybody asked why is there such a PR blitz? And why is all the church-run media in this town just lapping off of his shoes? Why is nobody talking about the not ballot initiative? We all I'm going to give me 2 minutes on this to lose my mind. We all love to talk about, elect free and fair elections. Why isn't this on a ballot? Oh, we've got the people and it's we're a free republic. And then why not put it on the ballot? Well, everybody wants hockey in this town, Marty. Then why not put it on a ballot? Why not put it on a ballot? Oh, that's right, because you had 0 chance of winning a ballot initiative. You're a billionaire, or you say you're a billionaire, then why do you need public money?
$900 million
in sales tax. So who's paying for that? I know we love tariffs in this town. Who's paying for that? We're paying for that.
Because I know we were so excited to have a hockey team here.
Because we had to have it.
Oh, well, Monty, did you see the building? Yeah. What did you expect? Did you expect it to be empty on night one?
What I'm asking you is, if the building was going to be full and everybody wants hockey and it's amazing, why not put it on the ballot? You're a billionaire. Why do you need a ballot initiative? Why did you give this guy almost all of the heartbeat of Salt Lake City for redevelopment as he sees fit without putting it on a ballot? Why? You handed a billionaire billions of dollars. Why? And the idea that you're eliminating a building like a Bravenel Hall is disgusting to me. For a guy who's not won a damn thing in this town.
And I love that he's openly joking about it. Who's going to win? Who's going to win a championship first? The Utah Hockey Club or the Jazz?
He hasn't spent a penny on the Jazz.
Like,
I am amazed by it. I'm amazed.
So then we get vilified for asking questions about like how all this has gone down instead of just taking it lock, stock, and barrel. And
I do not understand why we are just so happy to do this. Why are we so happy to do this? Why are we as a population thrilled that starting January 1st, 2025, we're getting a tax increase, 0.5 sales tax increase in Utah, one step away from becoming official after the Salt Lake City Council unanimously approved a final deal with Smith Entertainment Group. I don't know why we're doing this.
And you know, the funny thing too is like we're people always say, well, why do you guys not like Ryan? Why do you guys like, what's the deal? It's not that I don't like Ryan Smith. I don't like that the way that this has been handled. I don't like that you didn't go out of your way to get the public support in an official capacity. You just thought it was good enough to, go to these folks, the council, and say, hey, yeah, go ahead and pass this. Go ahead and stamp this for me. And not ask what other people thought. Like, it's not just what you want, only apparently it is. And that's what bothers me, man. I don't like giving money to billionaires who haven't proven a damn thing in professional sports.
And again, the best argument is find me a taxpayer subsidized professional sports building that makes money for the Republic. Where are they? Because they don't exist. And if we're really getting down to brass tacks, hockey, publicly financed hockey, I don't believe there's a single building in the country publicly financed that's been successful. And when I say successful, has brought money back into the coffers of the city, the county, and the state. A hockey building has never done that. Never. And you just gave this guy $900 million in public money. I really struggle with it. I really struggle with it, man. Mayor McCluskey, a Bravenel Hall is staying and getting upgrades. Let's see him do it.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Smith has not said word one about it. And it's all of the problem that I have is, oh, yeah, we would never. Okay, put it in writing then. Put it in writing. Where is the long-term financial commitment to keeping the arts in downtown Salt Lake City? As someone who routinely spends money on the symphony and supports the arts at a Bravenel Hall and supports the arts at the Eccles Theater, where's your commitment? I want to see it in writing. And he hasn't put it in writing. Why has he not come out and roundly said, I am not going to tear down a Bravenel Hall? Why has he really not come out and said anything? Because he knows speaking is going to get him in trouble. That's why he hasn't. I'm telling you, man, I struggle when we give billionaires billions of taxpayer dollars. Why are we doing it? And for those of you that support it, and everybody always says, well, why do you hate hockey? I don't hate hockey. I love hockey. Our kids need the arts. Our kids need $900 million could go to so many other places than a billionaire who supposedly got billions of dollars and big connections on Silicon Slopes, he doesn't need a public tax money handout, man. Where do those two fit together? I'm this big time guy and Qualtrics and billions and Silicon Slopes, and then why are we giving you $900 million in tax breaks? Why are we handing you the key? I think the physical distance is 3 square blocks of downtown Salt Lake City. The most important 3 square blocks. Notice it is, just out of curiosity, is Temple Square involved? Oh, no, it's not. That's right. We would never in this town even consider that. But you go down a block or two and Abravanel Hall's right there, and oh man, well, we'll see. Help me understand it. Make it make sense for me. Why this was not put on a ballot for public vote.
Yeah, and Geoff, like, bro, obviously we love you, dude, but just because it's being reported,
it's not public knowledge at this point.
Yeah, like it's not been like, as you said, put in official documentation.
Why is all of this not in writing? Why is it not in writing?
It being in the Trib doesn't mean it's happening. Like, you understand that, right? Like,
I'm
respectfully.
not behind on it. Man, I can only tell you that when you have a deal that's been battered, it was didn't one of the council members refer to this process the other day as a game of pickleball? I'm pretty sure that's how it was described. That the process of getting the final plan in place is a game of pickleball. And it's going back and forth. Put it in writing. Put it in a contract. Like that's the biggest issue that I have with this is that it's never been, here's your $900 million. You're going to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You handed this guy 3 square blocks, and forgive me if I'm wrong about that. I think it's 3 square blocks. You handed this guy 3 square blocks of downtown Salt Lake City with no guardrails. And I'm not here for it, man.
See, and this is
I'm not here for it.
This quote right here is exactly what I'm talking about, out of Mayor Jenny Wilson, Salt Lake City. Hey, we're required to do $200 million in upgrades to upgrade failing heating systems and to keep the facility accessible to those of all abilities. But we're committed to keeping it. But there's not like, hey, here's the document in the plan that says we're keeping it. And it's one of those things where it's an example of, you're saying it, but is it actually going to happen? And that's why I say, hey, I don't agree, Geoff, that it's just public knowledge. They're saying it. I agree with that. But until it's in a plan, like, and there's money tabbed for it, I'm not buying it. You're telling me $200 million of the $900 million is going to go to Abravanel Hall in this plan?
Not a chance in the world.
There's not a chance, dude.
And the problem at Abravanel, for those of you who don't know, and I'm going to wrap this up because most of you don't give a rat's ass about this. Abravanel Hall is where the Utah Symphony Orchestra calls home. It is dilapidated. It needs updates. It needs to be, ADA compliant. Because it's not. The seats are tiny. There's not a lot of amenities. It needs a facelift. And my biggest fear is it's going to go away because it's not going to be cheap, and it is something on the order of a minimum, I think, of $200 million. Because you really need to tear that place down and rebuild it.
Look at what the mayor said. This is quoting her. This opportunity that's presented today, speaking on the passing of this tax situation, has captured the public's imagination for the preservation of the hall. And that means we, with hopefully the state's help and other partners, can come up with that bill. That doesn't sound like, yes, we have the money and yes, it's going to be allocated. Yeah. That sounds like to me, hey, yes, this tax thing has captured the public's attention and hopefully we can come up with the money. So again, I would agree that Abravanel Hall is being talked about and we're trying and we'll see what we can do, but it's not guaranteed, man.
And again, I don't understand why professional sports is a blank check for tax dollars. I have no problem with hockey. It's not a hockey conversation. The Hawks lost 5-2 last night. It's a great night for Salt Lake City sports fans. If you take all this off the table, which I'm not willing to do, is it great on the surface? Yes, the building was packed. There was excitement. It was awesome. Everything's great. Cool. Now what? Because I'm telling you, you look at all the people that are lined up against this thing. Rocky Anderson, the former mayor of Salt Lake City, is leading the charge against this tax plan because it is a bad tax plan for taxpayers. We're never getting that money back. It's just not going to happen. I think it's if you're a restaurant downtown, you love it. If you're a hotel downtown, you love it. You're doubling down on revenue. So of course, more events, more people, more excited. Of course, you love it. If you are the hospitality unions, of course you love it. And I understand that.
But I just want to point this out. If you do a Google search of is a Bravenel Hall staying, what's all the reporting have in common? Everyone's done an article on it. Hey, the city council confirms that a Bravenel Hall is staying.
Yes.
And so publicly, what does it look like? Oh, well, they've said it's staying. But then you go and read the reporting, which again, I tell you guys, and he tells you every freaking day on this show to actually go and read it.
Get on Google.
What's the reporting say? Everyone's got the quote. Hey, one of the council members said, hey, the first thing we have to do is assess, the cost of renovating it. And then we can figure out a mechanism to pay for it. The number is out there. You want to know what's public knowledge? The number it's going to take to renovate a Bravenel Hall, $200 million at a minimum. And it's probably going to be a little bit more than that because we all know when you renovate, you find things that are not, you can't just see.
Don't look behind walls you don't want to fix.
Right. So we know that the cost is going to be probably $220, $230. Let's be real. So I get it. I agree that, hey, yeah, they're talking about it.
And they've committed to finding a solution. Give me a contract.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking you for.
What would anyone be surprised if 3 months from now they were like, yeah, the renovation is going to cost $300 million and we just don't have a way to pay for that. So we're going to put it up to a public ballot to see if people want it. But we're not going to that wouldn't be surprising at all. And that's what I'm saying, man, not to get too lost in this, but when people are like, oh, well, you guys don't support this or you're not in favor of that, get into the balls of it and then tell me why we should be excited about it.
And I don't hate you guys I'm not hating on you is the way to say it. I understand that most of us don't read. We just hear something. We're like, oh, that's fact.
It's ESPN FPI. You think that ESPN FPI is the same thing as the AP Top 25 and it's not. And it's not. It's just not.
I am so passionate about local. I believe this Salt Lake City, you guys, and especially for our viewers that don't live here, it's a special place. I mean that in every sense of the word, from the mountains to the nature, to the animals, to the human animals. It is a special place, but it is a massively flawed place, just like everywhere else. We have real fundamental problems with addiction, homelessness. The arts are dying in this town. And there is no doubt that hockey game brought energy, enthusiasm. The Avalanche game at Maverick Center the other night, people were fired up about that. It was awesome to see that building full, and there's no doubt it's brought new energy. That doesn't hide, cover up, or whitewash the fact that it's not being done the right way. It is being railroaded down our throats, and we have no say in it. None. No say at all in what's going to happen. We gave 3 square blocks of our downtown to a billionaire for free. We just gave it to him. What other city does that happen in?
It doesn't.
Could you imagine the city of Chicago giving the Bears 3 square blocks? Build your stadium, do whatever the hell you want, guys. All right, cool.
Dude.
All the guys down, all our taxpayers and tourists, they're going to pay for it. So you go ahead and do what you want.
Look at what the Kansas City Chiefs are having to do to get their building situation taken care of. Bro, They put it to a public ballot, and that thing got shot down something terrible. So what did they do? They threatened to go across the state line into another state in order to get leverage. That's how far they had to go.
I'm amazed by it.
So it's just one of these things where I'm not, I'm a 30-something. I'm not just gonna roll over and say, yeah, man, dude, he's the best. This is amazing. Gosh, like an owner of a sports franchise that's never won a damn thing and doesn't spend money on the team, man, I'm just so excited about this.
Fat Jesus, you have to pay to keep the team. Trust me, the Valley is devastated that we lost hockey. I think they were the Coyotes. And this is my point. And again, I love hockey. This town was not bustling for an NHL. We have such an obsession with being known as a pro sports town in Utah.
Yeah, little brother complex.
I've never quite grasped it because BYU and Utah football is so special and unique here. You guys, I cannot tell you. This is the greatest football town I've ever lived in. And I'm from Chicago. Salt Lake City in northern Utah, better football town than Chicago. Period. Like everybody here lives and dies. Look at the Cam Rising finger gate. That's every day in this town.
People are losing their minds because it's turning into Isaac Wilson's team, bro. Like,
this town is so desperate to be relevant nationally because we have this irrational FOMO thing, fear of missing out. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it. If we're so desperate to be a pro sports town, why wasn't it put on the ballot? If everybody was crazy for hockey in Salt Lake City, why didn't you put it on the ballot? Because it would never have ever it would have, I think it would have lost somewhere on the line of 80% against it. It would have been an avalanche against it. And what did Ryan Smith do to get this done? Well, I'll just move the Jazz to Draper. I'll just move the Jazz to Draper.
Where have I heard that before?
And you know the worst part about it is he's actually got good ideas. He's using a shopping mall that is dilapidated in a suburb of Salt Lake City for the practice facility. And
yeah, that's the problem. The ideas are good.
The ideas are good.
It's not about bringing the team here. It's about how you're doing it.
Yes.
And I think that people, it's like uncouth to say that. It's like inconvenient or like somehow disrespectful to say like, hey, dude, cool. You want to bring a hockey team to Salt Lake? Yeah, I could see why that would be a fit. But you don't want to put it on everyone's front porch. Hey, do you support a 0.5% sales tax increase to provide Ryan Smith with $900 million over, I think it's 30 years, to renovate the downtown district?
Yeah, I think this obsession with being a pro sports town, and with all due respect to my Real Salt Lake fans, it's why the Jazz failing so repeatedly and why their continuing failure that's going to happen over this year and next year at a minimum. It's heartbreaking. And what's going to be more heartbreaking for a diehard Jazz fan is I think Ryan Smith is going to he has no choice but to make sure that the hockey team's competitive.
Yes, he has to. It's part of the plan.
Has to happen.
It has to happen.
John Hamm, if people care, they will vote out those who approved it. Do you have any idea what you don't tell me you don't know the culture of Utah without telling me? People vote for people that represent them, not
John.
here.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
And if they aren't
dude.
happy, they can vote in someone else. You could not be more uninformed about how politics in Utah work. There's one organization here that makes sure everything runs smoothly. You guys know what I'm going to say.
Yep.
And let's talk about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in this Ryan Smith hockey situation. Ryan Smith is a member of the LDS Church. Ryan Smith owns the media that talks about his hockey team and his basketball team. He quite literally owns them. He leased the management and operation of those media assets to Bonneville International. who is owned by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who controls the only newspaper with any credibility of sorts, the Deseret News, KSL News Radio, which is the single largest news entity in this town. And now they have branded those sports outlets that talk about and write about Ryan Smith's hockey club and basketball team, KSL Sports. And he spends his money supporting BYU athletics, and BYU is owned by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So when you talk about they will vote them out, actually they will not vote them out. This is the handshake town the greatest handshake town that's ever lived. Are you a member of the church in good standing? Okay, cool. So am I.
Great. Let's go do this business.
How can I spend my money with you? That's how this town works. Have you ever driven through the state of Utah? Don't know how to break it to you. Who's the single greatest real estate investor in the state of Utah? The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Have you ever noticed where their temples in this state are? They're on prime real estate. I live down the street from one that can be seen from the north end of the valley to the south end of Utah County.
Legitimately from like 20, 30 miles away.
It sits on high top. It is beautiful. It is lit 24/7, 365 every night. And you look across the valley to a little city called Draper, you can see the Draper Temple from just about everywhere. All of their temples, no matter where you are, look at the real estate that their temples sit on. Find me the temple that you can't see from just about anywhere in its locality. Because the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the most amazing negotiator of real estate deals, apparently. No, they strong arm and leverage people. How much money does BYU spend on athletics? Well, that's right. We don't know because it's a private institution, so we don't get to look at their books.
Funded by
the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Which is to say, I don't even have a problem with it necessarily. I'm not a member of the church. It doesn't impact me on the day-to-day until Ryan Smith gets a handout and it's fast-tracked and strong-armed through the legislature and not put on a public ballot.
And now I'm going to start paying more tax in the place I live.
And the media falls in line because he owns it. The big money in this town, which is really to say people who are members in good standing of the church, because that's where most of the power players are and where most of the money is, all fall in line behind it. Tell me you don't know the culture of Salt Lake City without telling me you don't know the culture of Salt Lake City. We are, and you guys don't care, but we are truly the only media outlet in this town. We're the largest sports talk show in Utah, for those of you who don't know. In Utah, I think we're well over 200,000 views, like on a regular basis. We're by far the largest sports talk show in this town.
And that's not our opinion. The numbers are publicly available.
We're the only ones that ever question this stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody on KSL Sports, everybody at the Deseret News, go read Where's the Critical Piece? The Salt Lake Tribune it's just not a great, they don't have the money to be a great journalistic operation. And they don't employ the talent that's necessary. How long was Gordon Monson the lead sports voice?
Decades.
Who would almost never question. They're not questioned. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Monty, if you walk outside in Salt Lake, do you just randomly find salt on the ground? Occasionally you do during the winter. It's how you cure the roads here. Just so you know. I'm just saying. Tanner Plummer, don't really trust KSL and Deseret News. Both are owned by the church. So you don't get objective.
Yeah.
Ryan Smith has his hands in Real Salt Lake, the Utah Jazz, the Utah Hockey Club, and BYU Athletics. He plays a significant role. He's an owner at RSL. He's an owner of the Jazz and the Utah Hockey Club. Plays a significant role in all of those teams, in all of those menus. Plays a significant role at the Maverick Center. Where did the Maverick Center get all of its visuals? Ribbons, scoreboards, all of it. Well, they got that from Ryan Smith and Smith Entertainment Group. And why is that? Because the SLC Stars, the G League affiliate of the Jazz. Where do they play? At the Maverick Center. Where did the Colorado Avalanche play the other night? They played at the Maverick Center. Why were they able to do that? Because now it looks like a great building. Who do you think is going to drive revenue through the Olympics in this town? Who's going to make money on the Olympics in this town? Ryan Smith. Through the buildings he controls. Through the entities he controls.
And yes, he controls Maverick Center. Through
his businesses. Dude, it's not even a question. Salt Lake City is so different from any other city I've been to. They got Mormon movie theaters and Mormon industry that pumps out Mormon flicks. They do. And I don't have a problem with the church. I'll be honest with you. It does not impact me at all.
We don't have to talk about the church, the Mormon culture, or any of that until we cross the line where now I'm paying tax.
Yes. And
now I got to talk about it.
I listen, I've never questioned anybody's faith. It doesn't bother me. I'm not the guy that's like, oh, what an idiot. If you want to go to church for 3 hours on Sunday and Monday night, you want to have family home, you want to live in the culture of the LDS faith, please exercise your free right to religion. I encourage you to do that.
Yeah.
Be at one with your soul. I don't care about that. It's great for you. I care about it when it ramrods really bad deals for taxpayer money. When we have a massive fentanyl problem on the streets of Salt Lake City. When we have a massive homeless problem. When we have underfunded, underprivileged children on the streets of Salt Lake City who are living in cars and winter's coming. And we just dropped $900 million to close a Bravenel Hall. Now we have a problem.
Not $900 million to fix the housing shortage in Utah. Not $900 million to solve legitimate problems.
Yeah. Tanner Plummer, Marty, you don't have to say the church's full name all the time.
Well, yeah, but you're from Utah, dude. You understand.
Do.
A ton of people on the show are not from Utah.
He's a minority owner of RSL. Is he an owner? I'd hope he's not involved in soccer decisions, but I wouldn't be shocked that he is. I don't think he's involved in soccer decisions. I'm not saying that. He has a role and a hand, and he impacts that organization. He does. Fat old Mormon and dying. Sounds like this Ryan Smith guy is very successful in controlling the narrative. Huge. He is a wildly successful businessman.
Yeah. And again, notice I'm not criticizing Ryan for his success in business. That's not like, we've not said that.
No. I don't know Ryan Smith. I don't think he's a bad guy. My issue here is with the people who are making these decisions. Ryan Smith is a billionaire who doesn't spend his own money to make things happen. And maybe that's why he's a billionaire. Monty, do you qualify as Mormon since your taxes fund the church? I do not. I do not. Maury Alvarez, the church doesn't strong arm for temples. They do give generous offers for the spots they want. If the church real estate broker knocks on your door and you don't answer, they kick your door in, figuratively.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
And if a member owns it, they are very likely to help the church that they believe in. Maury,
come on, dude. Come on, man.
Look at where the temples sit. Across the globe. Like, didn't they announce 15 more?
Do you think so, Maury? And I know you got this hurricane, you're going through a lot. I'm not trying to be any type of problem for you, dude. But do you really honestly in your heart of hearts think that every door they knock on to try to put a temple where your house is, that homeowner is excited to have that conversation? Do you really think that? Do you really think that all the folks who are displaced because Bangerter's got to be expanded or because Mountain View's got to be expanded to accommodate a ballpark nobody wants? Like, they're not excited, man. They're not.
Oh boy. Fat old Mormon and dying. Mayor McCluskey, Jake's shirt definitely has a salmon quality to it.
Yeah, and I appreciate the finer talking points on that.
Are you rolling with the salmon eggs in your underarms today, or?
Yeah, I mean, I must be. Yeah, it's real fishy, you know.
All right. Hour number 3 of the Monty Show, presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. Raising money for underprivileged children, homeless children to have Halloween costumes. Make a donation. In 33 minutes, we are going to give away a $25 Amazon gift card to one person who makes a donation. We are short of our $500 number today. What do we have here? Here's $10. Here's $35. There's $235. There is $250. There's $260. So we're at $260. In the next 30 minutes, can we get to $500? I know we can do it. We've done it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get $240 in the next 30 minutes? Can we make that happen? Advocates donations on Venmo. Advocates donations on Venmo. Make your donation, take a screenshot, send it to Jake. In 32 minutes, we will give away an Amazon gift card on the show. Today is day 2 of Amazon Prime Deal Days. So
Yes.
make sure that you shop well. Giggity. Is it salmon or salmon? Is cereal soup? I believe it's salmon. It's not, it's salmon. It's salmon. Smash the numbers. The correct hex code for that shirt he is wearing is blah, 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 blah. Those are scoring at home. Do you mean the color? That's a color number. That's a color number. I get it.
Okay.
It is salmon, though. There is no question it is salmon. All right, let's get into Big 12 power rankings on the Monty Show. We like to do it every week. Seems like we probably spent way too much time on that. So
I think it's close to home, though. I think it's a real issue.
It does hit close to home, and if you haven't figured it, I know you think I am crazy, but yeah, I am passionate about that.
And by the way, we're not owned by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, so we can talk about what we want to talk about.
Are you sure we're not bought and paid for?
Yeah, maybe I'll go find a blue shirt for tomorrow.
Every week somebody says, you guys, whose hands are in your pocket?
Okay.
Uncle Sam, because I just got my tax bill. Big 12 power rankings. Should we start at the bottom of the top?
Start at the top because there's too many at the bottom.
Back to the top.
Yeah.
Do you even lift?
Yeah.
Who are the 5 best teams in the Big 12 right now? In this order, number 5, I think I would put BYU at number 5. I think BYU is having a renaissance football season.
Mm-hmm.
I think BYU is getting really good defensive play. But the thing that worries me is I think Connor Pay being off that offensive line is a real problem. And the inconsistency with which this team has run the ball and LJ Martin's inability to stay healthy for BYU, and we've talked about this a lot with BYU, I think LJ Martin is a critical performer for this football team. LJ Martin's inability to stay healthy and be on the field, I guess we should call it LJ Anklegate, I think is a real problem for BYU, and it's why I don't have them in the top 3. I think they are over their heads a little bit on defense, and I think that the injury issues are piling up on offense. That's why I think they're the number 5 team in the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the only question that remains for BYU is are you real or are you fake with how well you've played to start this year? And, I think we're going to find out as the season goes along. The things I think about for BYU, yes, are the injuries. That's paramount for every football team. That would be BYU included. I also think that Jake Retzloff has to protect the football. I love the guy, but I'm not scared to say that he turns it over too much. And when you turn it over at the rate he does, that will eventually come back to get you. Now, you were able to pull out the victory against Baylor. Obviously the K-State game went the way the K-State game went. So you didn't have a lot of opportunities to turn the football over there. I'm just a little bit like I'd have to look at their schedule. I don't remember when they play Iowa State, but when you play Iowa State level defenses, you can't turn the football over. It has to be. And I think to your point with the injuries, when you're playing the better defenses, you got to be able to run the football.
Yep, totally agree.
So I would agree. A lot of people have them number one. They're not the best team in the Big 12 right now. I would have them in my top 5 certainly, and I think 5 is not unfair.
I think they're number 5. Can we just skip number 4? Let's just go to number 3. Number 3 is we should. Number 4 is the Texas Tech Red Raiders. I believe that Texas Tech is the 4th best team in the conference. That offense continues to perform. Obviously, there's one huge hole in Texas Tech's football team. They can't stop anybody.
Right.
And so if I were to really make a ranking here, I would probably have BYU and Texas Tech, 4 and 4A.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're very close. And my question is, can BYU beat Texas Tech in a shootout? And that's the question I don't know the answer to, because Taj Brooks is the best running back in the Big 12, in my opinion. And that's why I have Texas Tech at number 4.
Yeah, and I think, when Baron Morton's playing well, he's one of the best quarterbacks the Big 12 has. I think he's explosive. I think he can put the ball anywhere he needs to put it. And I think that Texas Tech has had a rocky start. And, there were a lot of questions about Joey. And, they are improving. They are, they're taking strides. I think my concern for Texas Tech is, again, consistency. I can't sit here and be like, oh, well, hey, you're playing great now, and I just believe that's going to continue the rest of the year, mainly because you played like garbage to start the year. So, again, when we're doing power rankings, just keep in mind it is week to week. So I would agree that when we just look at it, compare both of these teams, BYU at 5, Tech at 4, I think is extremely fair. And what the other thought I have is, man, is it really unfortunate that not to go down a Gundy rant, but I look at power rankings and I was like, man, Oklahoma State should be in this part of the conversation. We should be talking about a team in Oklahoma State being, that 5th to 3rd best team in the conference.
Yep.
And I think for the Big 12, that's just really unfortunate right now.
All right, time to really piss some people off. Number 3, Fingergate, the Utah Utes. I'm as the 3rd best team in my top 5 Big 12 teams. I think that defense has shown itself to be more than capable. Obviously, Fingergate with Cam Rising. I'm with you. I'm done talking about Cam Rising. Isaac Wilson's the starting quarterback of the Utah Utes. And I think they have a chance every single week from here out to prove who they really are. It starts in Tempe this weekend, and here we are on Wednesday morning before a Saturday game. I'm taking the Utah Utes at number 3.
Okay, who do you have at number 2? Because I disagree. The Utes are the 3rd best team. Who's your next team in line? Who's your next? Who you got? You got K-State next?
Are we playing by your rules?
No, but
No?
I just, I'm just asking.
Yes, K-State's number 2.
Okay, so see, I have these teams flip-flopped. I would have K-State at number 3. And the reason I have them at number 3 behind the Utes is because I don't think that K-State's offense is consistent enough to beat defenses the caliber of Utah. Now, everyone's going to say, oh, well, Utah lost to Arizona, and it's Isaac Wilson, and they're playing terrible, and everything, the sky's falling. And I don't disagree. Isaac Wilson is incredibly mediocre so far as a quarterback. He's shown some skill running. He's shown flashes with his arm. But the reality is he's a young guy, and he's learning this job on the fly. So I still put the Utes ahead of K-State because of that defense, because of Kyle Whittingham, because I think there's a consistency there.
Yeah.
But I think it's very close.
I am still to this day shockingly disappointed they lost to Arizona.
Yeah.
The Utes
That's
lost
just
to
not
Arizona.
a good performance.
And it's why I have them 3. K-State, yes, I have K-State number 2. Don't love Avery Johnson.
Yeah.
And I know that my friends in Manhattan in Wildcat country across this great nation of ours get all pissed off every time I say this. I am not a fan of Avery Johnson as a quarterback.
And I think you've been spot on about who dude is, right? I mean, what have you said?
He's not a guy I want standing in the pocket throwing the football for me.
Yeah.
Especially in a game of consequence. He's not. I think it is clear and obvious that Will Howard was the better and is the better quarterback. And you made a huge mistake letting a guy who was emotionally reacting, a visceral reaction, walking off the field in Manhattan for the last time last year in Will Howard. He wanted to be there. You let him walk away to Ohio State. and you're reaping what you sowed. And Avery Johnson is going to win you games, and unfortunately, in the biggest moments, he's going to lose you games. And he lost you the BYU game. And with the prolific running attack, he needs to stay in the pocket and deliver the football. And 1 out of every 6 plays, run an RPO for the guy. I'm with you on that. But he cannot stand in the pocket and deliver the football.
Yeah.
Yet they are still, K-State is still the number 2 team in the conference.
Yeah, and I think that, K-State, I think, they deserve to be in that 2-3 slot, however you have them.
Yes.
Not just because Avery is explosive as a runner, but because you have depth at running back. And for that reason, you have to look at them and say, okay, cool. There's a lot of teams that can run the football, but maybe they've only got that one workhorse back. And the depth behind them isn't very good. And so for that reason, they're going to be limited. But K-State has the luxury of having Avery Johnson. You've got Giddens. You've got, the rest of that room that really can provide. And so I think that K-State is a team that week in and week out can put up a lot of points.
Yeah.
And that's why I have them. Me personally, I have them at 3, and I have the Utes at 2, because the Utes, I think, defensively can stop teams like K-State.
I agree.
They can do that.
I agree. I have the best team in this conference, number 1 at the top of our Big 12 power rankings, the Iowa State Cyclones. And I will continue to die on this hill that Iowa State is the best team in this conference. Right now on October 9th, I think they've done everything I've needed them to do to cement that. The Cyclones came out against Baylor and did not look good. And then what did they do? Like every very good football team, kicked it in the gear. I think it is that block punt for a touchdown. Iowa State has not faced the best teams in this conference yet. Oh, they're going to. They're going to. And I see you have the schedule up.
Yes.
Look what's left for Iowa State.
So, like you just said, they just played Baylor, won that game 43-21. This week, you're going to be at West Virginia.
West Virginia.
The following is UCF. Then you've got Tech. Then you're at Kansas. Then you're home for Cincinnati, at Utah, home for K-State. So we're going to find out. And we're going to find out real quick. And I would expect you to be able to beat West Virginia, mainly because of the stature of that defense. I think, West Virginia wins games by running the football, possessing the football, and just suffocating you on the offensive side. And so I would expect you to beat West Virginia, but UCF is the game where I look at that and I say, okay, yes, on paper, you should beat UCF 100%, but that's a potential trap game. And then after that, I don't know. You're going to have to evaluate where you are, because once you play Texas Tech, like that's a team that can beat you.
All right, before we get you to the bottom half in the 5 worst teams in the Big 12, let's give some shout outs for our donations for the Advocates. Advocates donations. We're just 20 minutes away from giving away an Amazon gift card. We need $240 more.
Oh, we got that covered, bro.
So let's go with Monty Show Kids for $10.
I think it's one more down. We already showed that one.
We did?
Yeah, I think that's Maury. I'd have to go back and look. This is Calford getting us over the line.
Wow. Marty's Kids for Halloween costumes, $250. Thank you.
Chris Karn.
No smoking this weekend. BYU tailgate and early Bears breakfast. The Monty Show. Let's go.
And then this is Fat Jesus.
And then Fat Jesus with $50. Let's go.
So we are officially over the line, guys.
Let's go. I love it.
Nice job.
I love it.
Nice job clutching up.
Thank you so much, you guys. When we are talking about raising money for the Advocates and trying to raise money for kids that, having a Halloween costume at Halloween time. I mean, we all take that for granted.
Yeah.
And I think it is something that a lot of kids take for granted. And unfortunately, too many cannot take it for granted because they don't have that ability.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see guys like Fat Jesus and you see guys like Chris Karn and Calford, and you see everybody that's donated today making a difference, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Awesome that you guys did that. I thank you so much. for raising money. And there's so much coming from the advocates. They obviously, they do their Sub for Santa coming up. They provide turkeys and meals at Thanksgiving. But thank you so much for donating. That is absolutely fantastic. Well done. All right. Woo, that feels good.
Yes.
Way to go, man.
Yes.
Way to go. I really appreciate that. Big 12 Power Rankings presented by our friends at Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app. Open a new account using the promo code Monty. You make a $5 deposit, they'll give you 50 more. You can play all season long. You can make $5 bets on football. Flex play, you make 3 selections, more or less. That's as simple as it is. Will Joe Burrow throw more than a touchdown or less than a touchdown? That's all you have to answer. It's so simple. It's why tens of millions of Americans are playing Prize Picks. It's a massive, massive platform. Hook it up. Teddy Wayman, the original prize picker on this show.
Yes.
So you have him to thank for it. Download the app, use a promo code Monty. You deposit $5, they'll give you 50 more. Big 12 Power Rankings. Who are the 5 worst teams in the Big 12? I think the worst team in the Big 12 right now is the Baylor Bears. And who saw this coming? Oh, everybody did. That Dave Aranda still has a job is amazing to me. Baylor just has not improved really, in my opinion, in any way, shape, or form when it comes to the details. And I think it's what's preventing them from winning games, and it's why Dave Aranda has to be replaced in Waco.
Yeah, I think the tough part with Baylor is you're right. There's a sentiment where, he's just been able to keep his job. Unfortunately, I don't have them as the worst team in the league, mainly because they have 2 wins and mainly several of their games have been 1-score games. And, I look at the Colorado loss. Now, that's Baylor's fault. You didn't execute. And I agree with that 100%. You were right in that game, though. You were right in that game.
But didn't you have Iowa State on the ropes?
You did. And the Iowa State loss is a bad loss.
You got outscored 40-7.
Yeah. They came out and said, hey, here we are. We're the best team in the conference. We're better than you. We're putting this to bed.
Oh, you think you're going to win this game, Baylor?
Yeah.
No, we're gonna beat you the rest of this game 40-7.
Yeah. And
Come on.
I would have, we're talking about the worst team in the conference. I still have Kansas as the worst team in the conference.
Kansas has been in position to win every one of its games, essentially. And just has not been able to close. That's not where Baylor is. Baylor just does not execute and doesn't pay attention to details.
Mm-hmm.
It is shocking that the Jayhawks can't find a way to win a game.
Yeah.
They're better than Baylor. In my opinion,
yeah.
I think they're better than Baylor. That's why I have them as the second worst team. And then it really is a hodgepodge. Oak State or TCU?
I got to say, Oak State's worse than TCU. And I only say that because it's a mess. Like, nobody came into this season saying TCU was winning this conference, right? What did people say about TCU? Hey, they're going to be a middle of the pack team.
Just went to the college football playoff.
Yeah, like, you're trying to build this roster back. Like, you're not going to be the worst team in the conference, but you're also not going to be the best. Conversely, everyone was saying Oklahoma State was going to win the conference, and now obviously that's all over with.
I did an interview in Houston the other day on a radio show, and they asked me if Oklahoma State is the most disappointing team in all of college football. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. And I think that when you look at Ollie Gordon, is he not the prime candidate to hit the portal?
Yeah.
The attrition is remarkable. And that's why I have Oak State as the third worst team in the conference.
Couldn't agree more. And I think that, I think that Oklahoma State fan is starting to come to the realization that coordinators are going to get fired at the end of the year, that this team is going to look very different. And I do think at the end of this year, whatever your record finishes, Mike Gundy's got to ask some questions about Mike Gundy. Mike Gundy needs to have a come to Jesus moment, as we call it, and say, hey, do I want to keep taking this job seriously? Do I want to keep being, a mediocre ass football coach, or am I going to embrace the times and get with it? And if he doesn't, he will be fired inside of the next 2 seasons if this type of play continues.
I don't know how you don't fire Casey Dunn tomorrow, yesterday, the week before.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I am a little surprised that Casey Dunn is still I don't know how that
and maybe
pans.
Oak State fan get in the comments section. Maybe I'm overreacting to it, but
yeah.
I think then you have TCU, and then it's shocking, but Houston is the 5th worst team in the conference. I have warned you about Willie Fritz in Houston.
Yeah.
And I think Willie's moving that program. What they did to TCU, and sure, some of that's an indictment on Spike Dykes' kid. Totally get that. You guys understand that since he went to the playoff, I think he's 9-21, 9-12, excuse me. He's won 40% of his games since they went to the playoff. Houston's a good football team on the rise. They're moving in the right direction.
Right.
They're going to be a good football team by the end of the year. Next year, I would expect Willie Fritz to have Houston in the middle of this conference.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think,
the road ahead is not easy.
It's not easy. And when we talk about like where Houston's at as far as like power rankings are concerned, when I look at Houston, I think about UCF, and I think about these two teams being very close to each other as far as who's better, who's worse type situation.
Yeah.
And I'm really concerned. I got to be honest with you guys. I'm really concerned about UCF.
I am as well.
Because you look at their schedule and, you lose to Colorado in pretty dominant fashion. I mean, Colorado came in and ran all over your ass. And then you lost to a bad Florida team. Now, admittedly, it's on the road. Okay, I could write that off. Fine.
How are you losing like this with RJ Harvey and KJ Jefferson? If somebody wants to explain that to me.
Yeah. And then
because I don't get it.
You talk about the road ahead. I mean, UCF's road ahead is as difficult as it gets. You've got Cincinnati this week. You've got Iowa State the following. You're going to BYU to die. Then you've got Arizona. Then you've got Arizona State, West Virginia, and Utah. There are no more off weeks, bro. Like, and that's why I'm saying, like, right here today, maybe UCF is ranked just slightly ahead of Houston. But when it's all said and done, like, I'm looking at this schedule and I'm saying UCF isn't going to be more than a 5-win team. I think you'll beat Cincinnati. You're going to lose to Iowa State. You're going to lose to BYU. I think you're losing to Arizona.
No.
Yeah, I think they'll lose Arizona. Yeah. Dude, you let Colorado do that to you.
Well, Colorado's got an explosive offense.
Well,
I would agree with that. But you're
and maybe which
T-Mac is
Arizona
one receiver. Yeah,
Which
T-Mac's
Arizona
one receiver.
Yeah.
I agree. Noah Fafita's explosive, but they're not the offense that Colorado is.
Okay, so give them Arizona. Give them Arizona. So right there, if you beat Cincinnati and Arizona, you're at 5 wins with 3 weeks left in the season.
6 at Arizona State. You're going to lose to West Virginia and Utah. You're going to win 6 games, in my opinion. It's a huge disappointment if you're UCF. This should have been an 8-win schedule. Losing back-to-back to Colorado and Florida is a massive disappointment.
So when we talk about Big 12 power rankings and Houston versus UCF and like what that looks like, I tend to agree. I think Houston's going to be in a better spot than UCF is when it's all said and done.
Yeah, but Houston's got at Kansas, Utah, K-State, at Arizona, Baylor, at BYU.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that they win another game.
We'll see.
I don't know that they win it. They need to be thanking their lucky stars. They went to Fort Worth.
Think about, but also consider the fact, just something we see every year, at the end of the season, like if you look at Houston's schedule, like let's say Baylor is just, they're flaming.
Yes.
And let's say that it's clear Dave's going to get fired at that point, or that there's going to be massive overhaul. Baylor could be way less of an opponent with 2 weeks left in the season than they are now. BYU, who the hell knows what BYU is going to be at the end of the year? I mean, this could be just a complete overachiever. You could be an 8-9 win team playing for your college football life, and that could be an absolute death knell for Houston. Or it could be BYU lost too many games, they're out of it, and now we're going to play the young guys in the last week of the year. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Houston might have some opportunities, but I just don't like the direction that UCF is heading towards.
No, I think teams like Houston and BYU next year are going to be much, much improved. I think BYU with another year in this offense and defense, if Aaron Roderick doesn't beat BYU week in and week out, they have a real chance to win every game they play the rest of the year.
And notice what he said there. He didn't misspeak. If Aaron Roderick doesn't beat
the
BYU,
offensive coordinator
doesn't beat BYU week in and week out, they're going to be in a really good spot.
At some point, you just have to get naked and let Jake Retzloff do what he does.
Mhm.
And it's this thing where you're like, well, we don't want him to throw the ball. Let him RPO and just let him RPO. Let him run that pitch. Let him play keeper. Can we please get play action fake with this group of wide receivers?
Yes.
Can we get some
Jake
play action?
Jake Retzloff gets in trouble when they're playing a physical defense that's getting penetration on the line of scrimmage, and he's got to run unscripted. When Jake Retzloff is rolling left or right, and it's scripted, it's how the play was meant to be run, he's fine. He puts that ball right on the mark. But when it's, hey, I've got 3 guys chasing me, I'm running for my life here, and I've got 3 feet left till I hit the sideline, I just got to throw it, that's when he gets in trouble.
Yeah, I think it is a really important week, and obviously. I
mean, come on.
Where
are you at on this game? You still like Ohio State?
Love Ohio State by 57 points. Too much.
Hey, sign stealer guy, can you help us out this week, dude?
Yeah,
please?
Can we get some of them Oregon Duck signs? I think the Utah game is massively important. I think BYU has to come out with big noon kickoff at BYU in Provo. You got a ball. And it's an afternoon kickoff against Arizona. It's going to be a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Time to come out and pimp strut. Let's go. And I want to see Jake Retzloff play action fake, roll to his right, step and throw the ball down the boundary to Darius Laster repeatedly.
I want to, and I agree with that. And my thing for BYU in this football game is I'm not focused on Jake. I think Jake's going to have a great game. I think he's going to light that defense up. My concern is BYU's defense against this Arizona offense, and specifically McMillan and Fafita. I think that BYU has the ability to make big plays and basically rattle opponents by turning them over, but they also have shown a little bit of they're a little prone to that deep shot, the big play wide receiver getting down the field a little bit.
You gave up 39 to New Mexico.
Yeah.
This defense can be had, which is why it's so shocking that Utah didn't beat them.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you,
I just want to see BYU come out and stay committed to stopping the run and forcing Fafita to go to somebody else besides
Teteroa.
Teteroa, yeah.
Yeah, you got to get away from it. I think BYU holding SMU the way they did, and remember that game was in Dallas. Just look at the front of the SMU jersey where it says Dallas. We're the best.
Right.
We the best I think
music.
Handily beating Wyo and Laramie.
Yeah.
Handily beating K-State. And I think they showed some character against Baylor. Now you're coming out of a bye week. I think BYU is going to win this game. And BYU is 4.5. I think this is a 10-point win for BYU because I do think giving Jake Retzloff and that offense a week to prepare for a pretty mediocre defense at Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's tough. You got to run the football because this team has to be able to control the clock. But I think this Ohio State-Oregon game is huge. I think the BYU game, I think the Utah game is really huge. I think if we look at the top 25,
not the FPI.
Not the FPI.
Yeah, the top 25. Just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Appreciate that, Save.
Yeah.
Obviously, Missouri at UMass. Okay, let's move on. Texas, Oklahoma at the soon-to-be renovated Cotton Bowl. Massive game. Penn State, USC at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Lincoln, you want to save your job? You got to beat Penn State this week. Yeah. And I know that Penn State doesn't have a runway long enough to actually, get to the game, but
we didn't have time to get to that the other day.
Can we,
bro? Why is James Franklin out here in press conferences talking about, hey, well, guys, we're having to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours to take out a Hartford or Harrisburg. We gotta go to
Harrisburg
because the runway at the local airport's just not long enough to support the jet we need to fly to the West Coast. Hey, Slick, got news for you, dude.
The slingshot that we used to launch our turboprop,
bro. What did you think this was going to be?
James Franklin sat at a press conference yesterday and talked about how they need to make a longer runway. No, actually they don't, sir. You're a college football coach. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have to get on a bus and go to Harrisburg to fly? Bummer. Yeah. Who here has pity for Penn State? Yeah, me either.
Hey, I got news for you, James. I've driven an hour to the airport. You can do it too.
GFOH. What
Like,
are you
come
talking
on, bro.
about, man? What do you
Come on. Be better.
The Monty Show presented by our good friends at Canyons Golf. Canyons Golf in Park City, the official golf club of the Monty Show. You can find it at Park City Mountain Resorts, Canyons Village. Go play 18 holes this weekend because it's the last weekend of the season at Canyons Golf. Can't wait to be up there. It's nice and crisp. The fall colors in the mountains, unbelievable. I am super stoked to drive through Park City, come on down Guardsman Pass, come through Cottonwood Canyon. It's going to be amazing. It's an amazing weekend. I would tell you, go play 18 holes of resort quality golf at Canyons, then go have a world-class meal in the village at Canyons Resort. It is at Park City Mountain Resort, Canyons Village. Go have a world-class meal. At the bottom of the Pendry building, there's a great little Mexican joint. Life is good. I am sad that golf season's coming to an end. But don't miss out. You still can go and play Park City Mountain Resort. Canyons Village is where you find Canyons Golf. Google search online, Canyons Golf, Park City. Book online. Tell them you heard about it at The Monty Show. Stadium Guy James. Oh, we changed our picture to a paper bag over our head.
Is that, bro, did you get exclusive access to Mike Gundy? Is that what that is?
No, that's Mike Gundy's kid, I think. Which is to say Alan Bowman, because that's Mike Gundy's kid.
Wow.
The Ohio State is going to win, but Oregon will keep it close. Could be right. Smash the numbers. Ann Arbor is convenient to DTW, the best airport in the U.S.
Okay.
Yet another great thing about Michigan.
Okay.
Let me go up a little more here. Mayor McCluskey. BYU will show Utah how to properly beat a poverty program. Wow.
Bro.
Program.
Now Arizona is a poverty program. UW fan Jim, if Baylor can hold the team together, they could get 6 wins by the hair on their chinny chin chins.
Yeah.
You're poorly coached. You don't have leadership. If I am being rational as a Michigan fan, I should root for OSU over Oregon because I need Michigan to have losses to number 2 and number 3 and get in with 3 losses. It's never going to happen. Bro, have you come to terms with the fact you don't have a quarterback?
But Monty, Jack Tuttle.
No. Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Ferris
Alex
Khan
Orji.
who said that Alex Orji is going to have a breakout game, 150 yards, and we're going to beat Washington. And
Stay hard.
They didn't combine. Wow. The Texans placed Nico Collins on injured reserve with a hamstring injury. With a returning designation, he's out 4 weeks. That's a huge loss for the Texans. But don't forget that they didn't combine all the quarterbacks to throw for 150 yards.
Right.
Tuttle had multiple turnovers. You're not getting in.
Yeah.
You're not, and nobody likes you. You're not getting in. Tanner Plummer, if Utah loses to Arizona State, I will probably die of laughter. Ooh, this could be a long show Monday. Cam Harrison, I agree, Tanner. Smash the numbers. Actually, Texas and OSU would be number 1 and number 2, not number 2 and number 3.
Anyway.
Okay. Hey, now you're trying too hard. You know. The Stadium Guy James, I already said that, my bad. Mayor McCluskey, I only speak the truth. The eye patch. Arizona and TDS fans have a lot in common. Playing Utah is their Super Bowl. Well, who do you think Utah's Super Bowl is this year? Don't know how to break it to you. It would be undefeated BYU. Ferris, if they did a Super League and put Michigan in a 10-team division with the original Big Ten teams, I would be happy.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that'll be amazing. Sal Capone, Arizona OF. Arizona OC is trash.
Bro, we don't need to be talking about explicit content in the Arizona football program, okay? Like, let's make sure we get this typed out correctly.
Arizona has an OnlyFans
Yeah,
account?
like, what is that, dude?
Tanner Plummer, eye patch. If Utah loses to ASU, will you even show up to the show Monday morning? God, if that happens, that's so bad for us if that happens. John Dry, I don't know anything about Michigan Heineken Yankee drinking SOBs. LOL. Okay.
All right.
Mayor McCluskey, the mayor of Montytown. Sal Capone, just give me my money. They were at least good enough to beat the best defense in the country, or so I am told, Utah. Ooh, BYU fan is living high on the hog right now. High on the hog.
Talking that junk, dude.
Smash the numbers. I believe that Alex Orji can complete a forward pass. I haven't seen him do that. You got pulled for Jack Tuttle, who's played at, I think, every university under the sun, including Jita.
Hey, look here, man.
I use the term play loosely because he hasn't gotten on the field much. Well, at Michigan he did, and then he fumbled and threw an interception.
Nice job, dude.
You can't. Alex Orji cannot complete a forward pass. Maury Alvarez, in order to beat someone like a redheaded stepchild,
Damn.
you can't be a redheaded stepchild. BYU wins big. Wow. Attaboy, Maury. Utah is not Arizona's Super Bowl. No, they're not. No, they're not. Tanner Plummer, eye patch. Nice deflection, bro. There you go. There you go. There you go. No, the eye patch says. Whoever Utah plays in the Big 12 championship game, definitely not playing the TDS, but nice try, Monty. Are you going to make the Big 12 championship game?
Legit question.
If Isaac Wilson goes the rest of the season, I don't know that you make the Big 12 championship game. That's a big one.
All right, who are we giving the Amazon gift card to?
Yes, correct. Let's do it. Everybody that made your donations, I think it's probably... But see, every time I give it to Calford, he says he doesn't want it.
Right. Yeah.
So I would give it to Calford on money alone. But don't we have to give it to Mayor McCluskey? He's back on the show this week. He made the donation.
Yeah, we can do that.
I think it's Mayor McCluskey.
Okay.
Because, you know, he thinks that Abravanel Hall has been saved.
I don't really get it.
And when you say stupid, no, I'm kidding.
You say stupid things, you get stupid prizes, you know?
It's always, I love having the old guys on the show.
Yeah.
And Mayor McCluskey donating to the cause. Chris Carnes won a smoker on the show. And when the Bears get a stadium, Chris Carnes can start winning Amazon gift cards.
Well, when they pass the taxpayer initiative to get the stadium, well, they don't. It doesn't have to be built, you know. Yeah.
And he has invited us down to play golf, but we haven't had the bandwidth to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we give it to Mayor McCluskey. You on board with that?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Yeah.
Mayor McCluskey, make sure you send Jake a DM.
$25 hairs.
$25 hairs. Don't forget, today is Amazon Prime Day number 2. Can you put noodle golf balls on sale?
Are they not on sale?
They are not on sale.
Bro, what are we doing, man?
Noodle golf balls are not in the Prime Day savings.
Are on sale.
Yes, they are.
$40 instead of $60.
I will slap you in the face if you pay $50 for a dozen of Proby ones. Just come over, I'll slap you in the face. Give me the $50.
Pay
you're going to
me,
lose them
and
anyway.
I'll deliver for you.
Yeah, you're going to lose them anyway.
Yeah. Come on.
The Monty Show is always presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. You never reach into your pocket to pay The Advocates. Let's start picking games tomorrow on the show. Thursday Night Football tomorrow night. It's all good. The Monty Show, presented by The Advocates. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.